Good evening, everybody. We are here for the next run in the Undefined Behavior Marathon. I am Moonblaze Wolf. I'll be your host for this run, and I'm joined here in the commentary booth at present by Demarine.
Hi again.
And we have a Jumpin' Ladies race coming up between ZoeVermilion and Raina. And they just finished naming their starting characters, which was based on your donation, so thank you so much for those. It looks like, and I didn't catch the naming screen, but Rydia's name, I believe, is Cat. Rosa's name is Bosa, and Porum's name is Rivers. So I believe that is where we are going to be starting for this run.
Yeah, this is a pretty standard. This is a fairly standard-ish set of flags. I know if you've watched any of the recent Free Enterprise races, you'll be pretty familiar with K-Main, K-Summon, K-Moon, which means that key items can be at any of the locations on the Earth in the plotline, as well as any of the boss locations in the game, so any of the major altars where the summon monsters are, or the moon altars. Key Wildish means that good treasures will be found, and that chances of getting good treasures will improve as they go along. They are playing with only Rydia, Rosa, and Porum, so they only can get those three particular characters. A lot of strategy is built around those three specific characters. And a little flag that was meant to be kind of a joke. Kind of a gag, kind of a funny for April Fool's Day 2020. The best April Fool's joke of them all, apparently. Push B to jump.
The April Fool's joke that is so popular that it's actually kind of like taken off as its own sort of meta, which is very interesting. So definitely undefined behavior worthy, having the characters in the game jump when they are not supposed to jump in the original.
Much like in Mystic Quest, they move forward 2 tiles when they jump. And the interesting thing is that every single plot point execution spot in the game is 1 tile wide. This will let our runners jump over plot execution points, do some really strange-looking things, skip bosses, if anything, I know I've done a bunch of these, and you can do some really wacky things, and so hopefully both of these runners know how to do it, so they can show off some of the absolute absurdity and lack of bosses that they'll be fighting.
Yeah, this will be very different than even if you are familiar with the Free Enterprise randomizer, it'll be very different than what you're used to seeing. So, are we ready to begin? Should I go ahead and give them their countdown?
I think we can give them the thumbs up and get them on out of here onto the road, or I guess into the air. We don't really go on the road in Free Enterprise.
All right, I'm just making sure that they are ready, and I'm just going to give them a quick countdown, and then we will be underway. And go! They are off.
Well, it'll take them a couple seconds because of the delay.
Well, the audience knows.
Well, yeah, but, just in case. So we get to start with a copy of Boza and a copy of Rivers. Hi, Rivers. How are you?
I'm sure Rivers is quite happy, and a weapon that neither of them can use.
So you mean a big pile of cash?
Think so. And also saw a enemy there as well, which is one of our community favorites. So
I don't know. I only like the big pile of cash. I'm not really into bosses.
That's your favorite character, Big Pile of Cash?
Yeah, no, Big Pile of Cash is definitively my favorite character. That and Forum, but usually Big Pile of Cash.
That's fair. That is totally fair. How are we all doing in chat tonight? Everybody enjoying the marathon, I hope? Oh, we should talk about these objectives.
I only missed most of them because I wasn't paying attention. It's been a while, okay? But we do have required Twin Heart.
I hear we have a special song for that as well, too, so everybody can look forward to that. Question in chat from Wolfman2000, is that a new objective screen? Yes, we have a new NPC at the beginning of all of our runs, regardless of whether the objective mode is enabled. We call him Guiding Way, although probably them. We call them Guiding Way. And they will tell you all what you have to do to complete the seed at the beginning of every run of Free Enterprise now. That is a new version 4.0 update.
Yeah, but you can see them just using jumping to get around towns in the most efficient of manners. Skipping the water, skipping through the trees, grabbing.
You can also jump just to be silly too.
I mean, look, you've got push B to jump. You should both push B and jump. I was always going to show off the best skip of them all here. So we've got Earth Crystal, King Queen Eplin. Damn it, Zoe! Why? I'm just gonna go check the log in a minute. But you can jump into Eplin Cave without the hook. You can just leap right over the mountains on the overworld because your legs are that powerful. Getting access to these gated shops as well right off the bat, so you can see maybe if there's some good stuff. There's coffins. I see an Odin summon. Gonna hang on to that Sylph summon as well, because if Rydia shows up, that's a good get. Sylph webs, which cast slow on all enemies, are really useful. Coffins cast instant death on one target, which gets used for grinding an awful lot. So the good business is here, it looks like.
Yeah, just kind of being able to completely bypass and get directly underground is one of the most ridiculous things about the push B to jump flag for sure. So I didn't catch at the beginning. Did they? Are there duplicates? Are we doing the 3-person team all the way through, or are we going to have multiples?
They are absolutely allowed to have duplicates, so they will probably run up a full party when all is said and done. But that'll take a little while yet, because, you know, even though you can get straight underground, that doesn't add any free characters to your party other than the one that you get here.
As we're getting going here, I also just want to remind everybody that our upcoming run that follows the Free Enterprise race is the Legend of Zelda Prototype. We have a donation incentive to raise $750 for a bonus second quest any percent run. That goal is right now just a little bit under halfway met. It's at $361 out of $750. We really want that bonus run to be met, so please go ahead and donate and make sure that you put your donation towards that target.
Yeah, that'll be really awesome. So we're going to add on another copy of Rivers here for Zoe as she grabs that character. You got looks like 3 dark imps taking a shower in the waterfall here. For Raina Lynn, this fight's not really doable at this time. The spot's fairly fast and fairly healthy, and we don't really do much in the way of damage just yet. The blizzard does damage based upon your maximum, or on your current health, excuse me, so it's only going to do about 100 damage to each of these, which is really just not going to quite get the job done. Also, I went and I rewound just to let everybody know what the goals are. They need to unlock the Toria Treasury with the Earth Crystal. They need to locate 2 bosses, the King and Queen Evelyn, which is pretty darn free, and Dark Elf, who mostly is pretty darn free, but you never know. And they do need to get to the Baron Castle Odin spot, the throne under the Baron Castle, and defeat whatever boss decides to show up there to party.
It's always interesting when you get that mix of objectives in the version 4.0 now, because we kind of have like 3 different kinds of objectives. You have the key item related ones, you have character checks, and then you have boss hunts. And I think I can speak from experience myself saying that the boss hunts are always the most sort of terrifying, just because there's so many more boss spots where you could find one of those bosses, and it tends to, you know, be the last thing that you have to find, and you're sweating and wondering where it might be. And we'll see if that ends up happening in this race.
All the cool toys here for Rydia. We got a dancing dagger, we've got a dragon whip, we've seen the Sylph summon pop out. We have a power staff and an elven bow as well on Raina Lynn's side. So Raina Lynn taking her time, getting some gear here. Zoe is just going to pop right into the Falcon and take off. No effort, is underground. at 5 minutes and 8 seconds. A hook route to die for, certainly. I don't think I've ever done the hook route that fast.
It's pretty addicting, I'm not gonna lie.
Looking at those two bosses going, yeah, I'm cool. You're cool. We're cool. I'm out of here.
So we did get a $5 donation from Rubash319 saying, let's get that second quest incentive met. So thank you so much for that. We're just about halfway there now.
It is important to note that 2 quests are better than 1.
Double your quests, double your fun.
Speaking of doubling our fun, Rainalin's going to have 5 times the fun on top of the mountain, because sitting on top of Mount Hobbs here, guarding a copy of Cat, was the entirety of the alternate football gauntlet.
So it's about 14 undead creatures in an antlion, or no, a bomb costume.
They are on top of the world. I don't know. Right, skeletons, if you let them live long enough, they cast Lightning 1. You might not have known that, but hey, that's how it works. We've got Medusa arrows out for Boza, so she's actually going to one-shot a lot of these anyhow, which is always kind of neat. Zoe is doing a lot of looting down here, and she found the monster's chest down here, and so in doing so can now loot this pretty freely, and on T Wildish there's a chance of getting some truly powerful gear down here, so she's going to take advantage of that.
Yeah, when you have a limited character set like this, it does get the loot and the gear that you're looking for definitely changes. So it'll be kind of interesting to see if either of the runners does kind of spike any of those items that are really beneficial to, maybe having a more attack-oriented Boza or Rivers, or the other one that is not in front of me, Cat. But yeah. They'll have a lot of money in this seed for sure.
Yeah, but things like long swords, drain swords, strength rings, that's all cash at this point. Just ship it at that point, because you can't do anything with it anyway. Right, Blizzard Spear, we could ship that. Dragoon Shield, we can ship that. All of this stuff is just mountains and mountains of gold. I know Zoe just bought a pile of hourglasses as well. Which on non-boss enemies will just put the stop status down for basically long enough to go and make lunch, grab a drink, stretch it out. So things like those dark imps that we saw earlier become very, very free.
There's one of those items that does help out quite a bit more for this kind of party. Some power staves in the Fame Arch weapon shop for Zoe.
Yep, and the Land of Summon key item was a single beautiful Luca key. Zoe also finding ninja hats and buys a cursed ring, which always is a really interesting item because it reduces all your stats by 15. I'm sure there's no, why would you buy that? That's garbage.
I mean, it does seem that way. But it does have some very good uses later on in the race, typically for us in Free Enterprise.
Yeah, if it comes down to it, we need to talk about those strategies. I'm certain that we will, or well, you will, because I can't articulate the agility in this game. It's like arcane.
The forbidden lore of agility manipulation.
It is truly powerful. Also, on Rainalin's side, she is showing off the other power of push B to jump. You can push B to jump, but you can also push B to jump.
Yeah, Kane's iconic jump attack is now available to all.
Bound to the B button. You can just, get up and then get down.
I missed if there was a job dwarf check on Zoe's screen, unfortunately.
There was a tax auditor on Zoe's screen, so she made the check.
Oh man, they have a lot of money. I'm a little concerned about what that tax auditor is going to think of their bank account in this situation. We have another donation from the lovely Scala Kitty, $7.77, saying second quest. And I'm just going to say that a few more times because I want to get the chant going in chat. So second quest. Come on, chat, we can do it.
I think Zoe found tiaras in the armor shop down here, and she is, I mean, look, she's selling stuff to buy stuff. That's fine for taxes, right? Like, she's not evading taxes in any way here. She's only getting half the value for her stuff.
To be honest, I don't know how dwarf taxes work, but it could be a very different system than the one that we're used to.
I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, and Zoe finds another important item, I'm sure, that she was looking for down here. She finds sirens, which will go good with those coffins, because we can use those to summon monsters. I know but you might be asking yourself, why not just turn on random encounters? Blaze, I'm sure there's a reason why we just don't turn on random encounters.
I mean, it's fun, but sometimes you can just go fight a bunch of normal monsters in the alt gauntlet like Raina just did. I do want to point out she got through that and probably got a fair amount of experience for doing that as well. So hopefully that'll be a good time investment.
Absolutely. Gave her a third character as well, so she now has her first copy of Cat on the team here. Oh man, 2 rivers. I love it.
We did have we had a format that we did in an event last year called the Reject Percent, and there was one seed that was rolled that was all Porums, and it was truly magical. I did not get a chance to do that seed, but I heard it's one of those like legendary seeds that is spoken about quietly in the corridors of the FF4FE Discord.
So I was not involved with that in any way, shape, or form. I do love my white mages. I had nothing to do with that. Rivers fired me as a workshop helper that day. I got fired. He then rehired me for half the pay.
I mean, he just had to take it out on somebody, I guess. So
Rivers has come over to the Porum side in 2020. So just so you're aware, you know.
Yeah, once we realized that white mages were more important to casting Berserk than actually healing, I think Porum stock rose quite a bit.
Yeah, Cure 2 potions are just fine. Casting Berserk is where it's at.
So I do have a couple more donations. I think that that little chant we did a second ago took off pretty good. So we're going to keep it going. We got $40 from Garby, the Glitcherous, saying second quest. And $50 from Groundflyer, also saying second quest. So let's keep that going. Demarine, would you like to join me in the chant?
Absolutely. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Second quest.
Second quest. We ruined it.
We're really bad at this.
Hey, chanting over Discord is hard, okay?
We'll just stick to commentary.
Just to give you an update on that as well, we're now over the halfway mark for that Legend of Zelda prototype bonus second quest any percent run. It's at $464 out of $750. So thank you so much again for all of your donations. And I do also just want to pass along, not that we want to overshadow that Legend of Zelda incentive, because that is the next run after this, but later on, late this evening, I believe, will be a run of Life is Strange. And we now have a donation incentive open for a glitch exhibition for Life is Strange. So once we get that Legend of Zelda prototype incentive met, that would be the next target. And let's go ahead and make sure that we get all of those wonderful incentives filled.
All right, Raina just showing off a little bit of tech for Wyvern here. Throws a Star Veil up on Cat and then has Cat cast Sylph. Wyvern does not like being summoned against. Wyvern then immediately Mega Nuked the party. But by reflecting that Mega Nuke back, Raina was able to kill off Wyvern instantly that way. Very nice piece of tech there to hasten that fight a fair bit, because using Wyvern against itself.
Yeah, that's a fun little exploit for sure. Sometimes I've done that on accident, and then you kind of feel clever afterwards. But yeah, well, very nicely done there. And we have another $20 from Leggy Starscream. Second quest.
Alright, so Zoe did not find a boss to her liking at Dwarf Cave and is now going into the Luca Cave here. Will not have the power to fight the boss down here, but I guess it's just going to run down for the check. just to kind of see what's going on. Like, even with the few extra levels that she has, the boss down here is pretty darn fast, and can put the hurt on your party pretty good. But I guess she just wants the check out of the way so she knows, do I have to come back here? Do I not have to come back here? Oh, she's gonna jump right over the side there. Oh, geez, that's a neat shortcut I didn't know about.
The folks who have done push B to jump a lot have found stuff that, I mean, I know I followed it pretty closely for like the first couple days after April Fool's Day, and I was like, man, this is all this cool stuff you can do. You can skip this, you can skip that, and then 2 weeks later, there's just all this other stuff that I had not even conceived of. So
yeah, you give the free enterprise community a new anything, and they will blow the doors off of it. It's pretty impressive here. So Raina's playing this pretty standard though, as she is just looting and shopping on the overworld. So she's giving us kind of a standard look at the start here, which I always find really interesting. I don't honestly mind this, even with like the push B to jump instant access to the underground. You could do some good things here. I know the instant access to the underground on these shop settings can net you, the Siren Coffin grind, but you still gotta come back and do this eventually. And you don't get to do it that much faster.
yeah, it's just kind of order of operations, and there's a lot of, with 5 different objectives to complete, just because you're doing stuff that's further in the game doesn't mean that you're further ahead necessarily. So
Zoe gets a piece of news here that she's going to absolutely need to come back to the sealed cave because the pan is down here, which is a pretty powerful double check. We've got Raina taking on the gauntlet spot, which is oh wow. We definitely have to come back down here. That was Dark Elf.
yeah, that was double required, and Yang is a traitor. Let's just get that out there. But yeah, I think Zoe was hoping probably to find a boss that she wouldn't have to fight there, so that she could just walk out with the pan. And I guess because of the push B to jump, she'll still be able to walk out with the pan, but is going to have to come back here and deal with that Dark Elf at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. Does get that particular piece of knowledge, but yeah, she's gonna have on the pan. We have the spoon at the bottom of Antlion Cave, which we had also, just to let everybody know. So Antlion Cave is very not required here, but we'll see if the gauntlet spot is, which Zoe will be able to do all in one shot because she's gonna have the pan in hand. And there is the adamant. So we are not on Forge the Crystal. No crystal requires forging today, so that's not really helping anything.
I've got a $10 donation here from Sexrex, who says, second quest?
I'm glad that somebody else out there is as bad at chanting as I am.
And then we have $20 from Maggie the Cat, who says, second quest, second quest. Also, hi, Free Enterprise friends. Hi, Maggie.
Maggie's part of the workshop now. She's pretty cool. Well, they're pretty cool, excuse me.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll end up doing it a few more times, but if you're not already a part of the Free Enterprise community, it is a fantastic one. So if you like this game, definitely make sure that you stop by and check it out and hang out with us.
Wow, Stella, wow. I see how it is. I'm getting bullied. And I'm trying to do commentary for these two wonderful runners who are doing two very different things right now. Zoe is on route to drop the pan, and Raina still do. Oh my god. Zoe, please, stop breaking the game.
Zoe cares not for your walls. I do love too that the runners are taking just basically 2 completely different paths, because as a watcher, it's really entertaining, and you want to see this kind of divergence for sure. So.
The pan was required. That Luca key is going to keep us going together, because that does open up the Baron spot for us. As there is the key to Baron on our gals, the Sylphs, my favorite NPCs in this game.
So tell me, what do the Sylphs like to talk about down there in the Sylph Cave?
Striking Yang in the head with various objects.
I hear it's very satisfying.
It's the most satisfying sound in Free Enterprise by far. So Rainalyn is climbing Mount Ordeals here. Gonna find herself on top of the mountain, I guess. That's how that works, right? Gonna go through some platforming segments. You know, you get to the top at 3,000 feet, then you fight your darkness.
Indeed, but all these characters are pure and wonderful already. What else would we need to be doing up here?
Checking for bosses, probably. Hi, Leviathan.
Well, while Rainalyn is exploring ordeals and Zoe is equipping up the team, crowning them all with tiaras, it looks like, among other things. I just want to welcome everybody again. I am Moonblaze Wolf. I'm hosting right now along with Demarine. And this is Undefined Behavior, a showcase and speedrunning marathon centered around queering games and queerness in games. For this marathon, we're exploiting glitchy, unusual, and marathon unsafe runs, as well as adjacent and related queer gaming content. We queer games when we reject limits and rules, when we play in atypical ways, and when we read diversity into stories and themes. This is the very first Undefined Behavior Marathon, and we're so excited to share all these games and showcases with you. So get comfy and welcome on in. We got lots of marathon left to go this evening. And while I was reading that, it looks like Rainalyn found a demist, which is very, very important to this particular randomizer.
Yeah, the demist locks up a key item in this particular randomizer if you have it set where there is no free item from Edward in the bed in Troya. So this will lead to a key item check once defeated down at the bottom of the mountain and back to the town of Mist. Unfortunately, that means Kat is gonna accidentally kill her mom, which is uncool. But that's kind of how it goes.
Unknowingly, at least.
Yeah. It's still sad, though. It's still a downer. Man, look at Rivers. Rivers got ups. I think it's the socks.
These ladies have definitely not been skipping leg day. Leggy F's in chat for Rudy's mom.
Rudy's mom's still fine. Still 100% okay right now. Nothing to worry about. Everything's gonna be alright. Rainalyn is showing off the power of the self-summon, though, just using it to batter down the Mist Dragon here, about 800 hit points at a time. This bot actually has pretty decent magic defense, so things don't hit quite as hard here when it comes to magic spells.
I mean, I will say I like Rainalyn's party diversity more than Zoe's for sure at this point, and being able to use something like a self-summon is pretty valuable early on in the game for sure.
Yeah, even with these levels and power staves and the like, Zoe's not actually keeping up on the DPS, even with those advantages. It's a little bit less animation time, and you're swinging for around 200 a swing, but you're not quite getting there quite that fast. But down goes the Mist Dragon to the power of the Sylphs, the greatest summon in all of video games forever. Don't at me. Also,
I won't at you. I agree. Oh, you're getting added, though.
Wow.
Let me distract with this donation. $20 from Danstad. Greetings, all. I have an announcement. Second quest. Second quest. Second quest. Second quest. Come on, chat. Do it with me. That concludes my announcement. Keep on grooving, all. By the way, Rainalyn got the package.
Nice. Nice, that's the full Mist Village destruction package on top of Mount Ordeals. That's very cursed. Double pan check here for, we've got a Protect Ring as the first item, second best defensive ring in the game. Gives you a bunch of defenses. And the second item is the Troll Magma Key, which we did not need because, you can get underground basically whenever you feel like it. Zoe's going to jump into the moat here and swim for it because, push B to jump is awesome. Also, if you jump underneath the railing there in the castle, you will hit your head.
There's a lot of very interesting spots that you can jump over that don't maybe do what you think you will expect them to do.
Nope. You'll just sort of in that case, just ram into them. Um, Other neat things in terms of the free enterprise community that you may not know. When we talk about the queering of games, of course, one of the things I know I advocate for and love is diverse and queer leadership within your games. I find this to be very important, for perspective purposes. Of course, anybody who knows me knows that I am part of the workshop helpers for Free Enterprise since December of 2018. I'm also transgender. There are multiple other queer members of the team in varying ways. Blaze, I believe you qualify in that category at this time.
Yeah, I have a special color, so that kind of counts, I suppose. But yeah, I'm a restream lead in the community. We help put on the shows for everybody weekly and in the big events. And hi, I'm also gay, so yeah, it's a wonderful space. I'm also a furry, so lots of interesting little tags and things that I can put about myself that are just a little bit out of the norm and queer and wonderful.
Yes, and of course, randomizers in and of themselves, of course, are really about the sort of the reusability of games that already exist, which is kind of queering in and of itself. Which, of course, again, is a very interesting thing. So Raina gets the coin toss, gets my most and least favorite item in the game, the Darkness Crystal, and access to those moon bosses and moon grind and moon items. But also, leads to the most haunted location in the video game. So we'll see how that plays out.
We got some sparks going here. It is actually kind of interesting, though, that Raina got the Darkness Crystal from that, because that is it's a really good item. Odds are, I don't want to say they're good, but it would not surprise me if something that our runners needed was on the moon. And with there not being Cecil in the seed and a bunch of boss checks just kind of leading to one key item, it would not shock me if Zoe put off ordeals for a while.
Yeah, no, I mean, putting off ordeals is a meta-sensible play here, honestly. When you don't have Cecil, when you don't have Tella, when you don't need to go up there, when you already know where one of the two required bosses is. You've already got Dark Elf checked off, even if you haven't killed him yet because you saw him. It makes things real interesting at that point. Here's that Wyvern again. Again, we're going to go pretty darn fast. We know it uses Bluster, which will either paralyze or instantly kill one of these party members once it lands. So Rosa gets laid out pretty badly there, but then gets life potion, so she's back. And the onslaught of staff poking continues here.
The beatings will continue until morale improves.
Look, when all your problems are nails, everything looks like a power staff as a tool, huh? We're going to need to look at the package boss here from Raina, as she's going to add on another Rivers as well. Find a king, the king.
Not the king we're looking for.
But it's the king we deserved. This self-summon will do the job pretty quickly.
Indeed, yeah, the spot does not have a lot of hit points, so we are safe from the king of the dragons, king of the summons, I guess. So just out of curiosity, Demarine, I don't know if we have specifically talked about this before. What is your history with this game?
My personal history with Final Fantasy IV in general, of course, I love telling stories about this silly game. I got this game on the SNES originally back when it first came out in 1991. Actually, my father got it thinking that it would be like Zelda. Of course, it wasn't, but it was a game that I had seen in Nintendo Power, and it was a game that I absolutely wanted to play as a 10-year-old. So I was super excited whenever I'd go out to his house on weekends. I would work my way through the original Final Fantasy II on the SNES. Before we had the internet or knew that Japan had gotten 2 other Final Fantasies in between 1 and 4, both of which were actually not spectacular games in any way, shape, or form, but we're still there. And of course, it's a game that's close to my heart. And then I came to Free Enterprise because of Silverfire, interestingly enough, when we met back in February of 2018. Oh god, so that was like ages ago. And then, we needed something to play together. So of course been speedrunning for, multiple years, even way before I started, because I didn't start until then. And then, we decided to jump into Free Enterprise, and I got real into it, and Syl got real into it, and I burnt out on it a little bit, and Syl burnt out on it a little bit, and then the community was like, hey, you hang around, you do a lot of stuff, you wanna help run the show? And I'm like, God, that's a terrible idea, but yeah, why not?
I mean, there's so many parallels in the story that you just told with how I kind of, fell in love with this game as a kid. It was really like the first RPG I ever played that had actual characters in it instead of like the more, typical role-playing D&D kind of RPG that, Final Fantasy 1 and Dragon Warrior and some of those NES ones. So yeah, very similar in a lot of respects. My own personal story with this game. Although my favorite part of the story that I always like to tell is I got stuck on this game for over a year when I was doing my first playthrough, because I didn't really understand that, like, if you got stuck, you could just fight stuff and get more powerful and then proceed. So I got stuck in the original Tower of Zot. I could not beat the Magus Sisters for probably over a year. And I wrote a letter to Nintendo Power begging them for help so that I could get through the Magus Sisters. And I did get a response. They had amazing customer service because I did call them a few times. I did write them a few letters, and they always got back to me. They're wonderful, wonderful folks. I believe they were out on the West Coast there. So yeah. And then I took their advice. I made it through, and I finally beat this game as a child, and it was like the proudest moment of my video game childhood.
Absolutely. So yeah, we got Zoe, and Zoe is looting the back of. This is the backside of the watery pass that you get to by killing the boss there. So the second half of the dungeon, you can also actually fly there and then fly into it. But a lot of really good loot. I think I saw a crystal ring on Rainalin's side, the best ring in the game, adds 5 agility and all sorts of defenses, including paralysis defense if you're running a Golbez. And on the flip side, there's another pro ring for Zoe, so she's got that. There's dancing daggers down here. There was like a rune axe. Absolutely just a ton of gear here. All these upscaled chests that we're finding here, because this is sort of an isolated location, means that you can make a whole lot of money buying this stuff up.
For sure, yeah. More bank account for the tax auditor dwarf to come after later, I think, for our runners.
Look, there's no tax evasion going on here. Both of our runners, again, they're selling stuff for 50% of value, which under dwarf law means they don't have to pay taxes. I looked it up, I promise. I'm not just making this stuff up.
Oh man, I'm seeing a lot of messages in chat with people commiserating with me about getting stuck in this game when I was a child. So thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one. And I mean, I'm not surprised. So, and I do just want to finish off that story because Demarine, you mentioned how Syl got you into Free Enterprise. My younger brother got me into Free Enterprise, and I'm very, very grateful for that. I was not a speedrunner before that. I was not a Twitch streamer before that. And yeah, here I am, less than 2 years later, doing this stuff and having a blast, and having some wonderful experiences with people that are amazing that I never would have met without this amazing game. So,
of note, both of us at stretches, both Blaze and I, were top 10 runners of this game at points. I think Blaze is currently up there at this point. My heyday was 2018.
I don't know how we rank that anymore, but I did make the semifinals of the most recent event, so that was pretty. That was a high watermark for me for sure. So very, very happy about that. But yeah, this game is so fun. Whether you play it casually or competitively, you can't go wrong. So,
getting back to the action here for a sec, Rainalin did go into the hook path here at Eblin Cave, found the Staleman chest down here, and got punched up pretty badly by the Staleman and had to take a reset. So she had to come back outside, and we'll have to re-navigate this. But now knowing where the one encounter chest is down here means you can open the rest of the boxes for free with no danger whatsoever, because knowledge is power.
That is true. I have to say that is probably my least favorite trap chest in the entire game.
It gives you a whopping 2,000 experience points, so it's not worth the time you put into it. They've got about 2,200 HP apiece. They do have an ice weakness at least. But they swing for the fences, and they're not good fighting. So,
and they sleep you, which when you're a runner is like the most annoying thing ever. So
the protect rings will stop you from getting slept, but even so, it's still awful.
Well, I think while Rainalyn is attempting or diving through here again, Zoe is kind of retreading a little bit of Rainalyn's earlier path. I'm going to read another donation. We got $20 from Edge Case Collective. I've heard of those people. If 10 more people donate $20, we can quest to the second quest and quest a second time after we quest a first time with the first quest. Who's with me? I believe that is a very convoluted way of saying second quest, second quest, second quest. Let's do it, y'all.
Second quest.
That is the donation incentive for the run that is after this. The Legend of Zelda Prototype bonus second quest, any percent run. I'm glad you asked.
It's twice as good as the first quest.
Oh no, Raynolin opened the chest again. Oh no, I hope she has a good plan this time.
I hope so too. This chest is awful. Her team is just not hitting very hard. She's actually falling prey to one of the interesting, not glitches, but overflows in the programming. What the aim command does for Rosa is it sets her accuracy to 255%. But if you're in the center spot, you get a 25% bonus to your accuracy. However, since you're adding to 255 in, basically a capped integer spot, what ends up happening is you end up with a 25% accuracy when you use aim from the middle. I've done this before. It makes me sad to see it, but I've done it, and it happens.
Oh, we've all done that. Yeah. Oh no, I definitely am commiserating here.
Yeah, it's not a bug. It's just math.
We got $5 from Leggy Starscream. Yo, dog, I heard you like quests, so we put a quest after your quest, so you can second quest. Second quest. Thank you so much, Leggy, for that donation. We're also getting really close to $3,000 raised for the Trevor Project, y'all. Let's get that taken care of soon, too.
Yo, I know the free enterprise community's out there. I know you're out there, everybody. I can feel you out there. I saw you donate for AGDQ. I've seen you donate for RPG Limit Break. I've seen you donate for other marathons. Your generosity is, I know, unmatched in the community. So, do it one time. Doesn't have to be big. Just a couple of bones. Second quest. The requestioning. Alright, so we've got Raynolin here, taking her time. Zoe has deposited one Mist Dragon into the ravine, jumps back over the first boss spot to save. We'll jump back over that first boss spot yet again, and again, and again. Because who fights bosses? Fighting bosses is for suckers.
Fighting unnecessary bosses is definitely for suckers.
Yep, we're still looking for a couple things. We still need that Twin Harp. Earth Crystal still also at large. King and Queen Eblin probably hiding in their vacation home on the moon, most likely, knowing this game. But we know Zoe's going to end up getting her hands on that Darkness Crystal shortly. Raynolin avoids the Staleman chest this time around and is going to go down to the back here, which is fantastic. Zoe also finishes getting her hands on the end of the world device for Mist Village.
Special delivery.
So the two rivers got together to cast Flare and did precisely 666 damage to the Rubicant. I'm sure that's not a omen or anything.
Yeah, that seems ominous for sure. Also, yeah, when you have two twins, you can use twin magic. They don't have to be Palom and Porum. They can be two Porums.
Yeah, two Porums don't generally get quite as much magic damage if you have a Palom, because it uses the black magic stat for damage. Since it's based upon the one in the higher priority spot, and I won't get into the super details of it, your Paloms will help you with your twin magic damage way more than your Porums will.
It involves more math. Also, something that involves math. More donations. $10 from Sex Rex. Oh, second quest. Why didn't you say so the first time?
Why would we talk about the first time? We're talking about the second time.
It's kind of like a BOGO quest, except the first one's you already get the first one. So this is the bonus. This is the bonus round, the bonus second quest. And then we have $10 from Nicolette, who says, second quest. I just read it twice because I liked the use of exclamation points to make the chant slightly different. So I appreciate that.
Exclamation points make everything better. Alright, there's a Mad Ogre chest here for Mad Ogre chest located here for Raina. I'm going to use Twin Magic, but alas, Twin Magic is not really... The Mad Ogres have like 200 some magic resistance, so they sit here and they shrug off most magics, that included. Zoe's going to get her hands on her Darkness Crystal now for a second time. She reset out of the item after seeing what character was here from the package, so there's a Darkness Crystal now.
Yeah, I believe this Mad Ogres is one of the enemies in the game that's like very horribly translated. They're actually supposed to be Mage Ogres or something like that, but for some reason they just called them Mad Ogres, and so it doesn't... It's not intuitive, but they are magic. They're magic type, they're heavily magic resistant, all of that stuff.
Yeah, they take quad damage from Charm Arrows and Mute Arrows, so both giant Slaying Gear and Mage Slaying Gear works very well on them.
We're getting a better explanation in chat, so a Japanese pun. They're Berserker Ogres in Japanese. And we got a raid from Manicate. Thank you so much for that raid, Manicate. Welcome on in, everybody, to Undefined Behavior. We put on our Jumpin' shoes and we're playing some Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise right now.
I mean, look, ups are very important, because Raina finds Mute Arrows for sale here in Agart, so that's actually a good find. Will be good for that physical DPS. You pair it up with a Samurai Bow or an Elven Bow, and you can pump out some damage.
Yeah, the bow and arrows are probably the best weapon types that you're going to find for most of these characters. So I've seen Samurai Bows, I've seen Mute Arrows. We've probably seen Charm Arrows, and maybe I missed them. But yeah, you really want to go like digging into weapon shops for those good bows and arrows in this kind of format for sure.
Yeah, Sylph will carry quite some time, but you want it, for a sustained damage output, you want to have multiple characters that can lay on the hurt in here. So that sort of helps with that. So there's another Boza here hanging out there's a Valvalis here in the first spot, who aim, interestingly enough, since it sets your accuracy to 255, you don't need to worry about much of anything here in terms of Valvalis missing Valvalis like you normally would, because aim assures all your attacks will hit.
Yeah, Valvalis, also known as the Hair Elemental, in a lot of spots is very, very difficult to fight. Particularly with a party like this, might be problematic, but this will not be any problem, thankfully, for our runners.
Importantly, aim is a fantastic ability, so it does a lot of damage, which is always pretty fantastic. And so a couple of arrows later, and Valvalis is put in her place.
Did Zoe find the Twin Harp?
Did Zoe find the Twin Harp?
Or is Zoe going for a ride on a joyride on a black chocobo? Oh, you know what? You can do you can get the item without the Twin Harp. That's what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, the way that the logic works, however, it won't be the Twin Harp, but you can just jump on in and grab what's there.
So we're getting mercilessly teased, is what I'm hearing.
Basically, yeah. This is actually going to be pretty awful.
Put your harps away. Don't validate this. This is not what's happening here.
Yeah, there's no hype here whatsoever. I'm sorry.
We'll be back, though. We also have $10 from Kinda Nerdy Housewife donated to the Trevor Project, saying, answering Demi's FF4FE community callout. The time has come for a secondary quest, it seems. Well, we're not quite there yet, but we are getting close. Let me do a quick update here. We're at $589 out of $750, so we got about another $160 to go. This is the next run. I know we're gonna get there, but no time like the present, y'all. Let's get that donation incentive met. Let's get $3,000 for the Trevor Project. Let's just let's keep this charity marathon going here.
It looks like Raina had some troubles with the boss afterwards here, so is redoing Volvalis now. I did not catch the second boss there.
Yeah, this would probably be a good time for a objective reminder as well for folks coming in late. So yeah, Bacon Pie asking what are the objectives. It is the Twin Harp, the Earth Crystal, King Queen Eblin, the Dark Elf, and the Odin spot, I believe, are the 5 objectives for tonight's seed.
Yep, and we know that 2 of those are tied up behind the Luca key, which you get in the Land of Summoned Monsters, because we absolutely know that the Dark Elf is sitting in Sealed Cave, sitting behind with the Baron key sitting behind him, and that, of course, will lead you to the Odin spot, so you get the Luca key from the Land of Summoned Monsters. Use that. I'm sorry, the pan was behind Dark Elf. You grab the pan, you tag Yang in the head, give him yet another concussion, and the Sylphs will hand over the Baron key in their delight.
Those Sylphs love a good bonking.
Yep. So the second boss here was Millen Z, who I guess was milling the party for their entire health pool over and over and over again because he's a powerhouse hitter in this spot. So we've got Zoe jumping over some walls in the Tower of Zot. She doesn't have an Earth Crystal yet, but again, we're gonna cheat Destiny a little bit here.
Don't let something small like not having the required key item stop you from making progress in these kinds of seeds.
The interesting thing is this is actually not what's required, because what they need to do is take the Earth Crystal to the Troya Treasury, not here. So this is not strictly required. And of course, we also know that if you kill the boss up here, you'll get the key item. We know it can't be the Earth Crystal.
Yeah, it's interesting what Zoe is maybe more looking for the bosses. Ooh, Raina just found the Earth Crystal that we were just talking about. It's at the Baron Inn.
Yeah, so it looks like Volvalis and Mylan Z were hanging out with the Earth Rock, and they handed over upon taking a beating here. And so Zoe's going to find the first character here is another cat. So more summoners. There's Dark Knight Cecil sitting there, so we know Dark Knight Cecil is in the Golbez spot in the Dwarf Castle, so not required unless the Twin Harp's there.
I'm really hoping that something that we need is either on the moon or on the giant. That would be fun.
Well, the only thing that could be on the giant is the King and Queen of Eblin, and we know the King and Queen of Eblin are pretty free, but you gotta find them.
It's still, everybody likes a good boss hunt, though.
Not everyone. There are some people who don't like boss hunts. I'm not one of them. I love them. They make me super nervous, though. Asura located here at the top of Tower of Zod. Not really a boss you necessarily want to see, but do we have Starveils? Oh yeah, Zoe's got Starveils.
This might be kind of a long fight for Zoe here, depending on the plan for taking down the boss, because even with those Starveils, you're not going to be able to take this out in like a couple chunks. Although I guess we do have some Elven Bows, so maybe that won't be too bad.
Yep, there's an Adamant Arbor and a Ribbon and a Power Shirt down here. So first Adamant Armor of the Seed located for Raina Lynn. So there's a Leviathan summon too. So that Earth Crystal is you're gonna get paid off. That's a lot of power in a small space already.
I'm thinking rematch with those Stone Men.
I'm thinking rematch with like literally anything you want at this point. There's a Glass Mask. There's an Artemis Bow. There's another Leviathan summon. So we got the business end of the business over here, I believe, is what we lovingly call it here.
Yeah, that is a stocked treasury. Raina Lynn is in really good shape now.
Oh yeah, that's gas right now. That is going to be a really stacked pair of roses here. One's going to get a power shirt, one's going to get an adamant armor. The glass mask is going to keep somebody else alive. Ribbon's just a fantastic helmet with like instant death protection. Swerk shirt is the best caster armor in the game, other than the white shirt for your white mages. So yeah, just this is the good stuff here.
You know what's also pretty amazing?
What's that?
Getting donations. We got $20 from Garby the Glitcherous. Second quest, all caps and 3 exclamation marks. So I feel like I should just kind of yell that. Second quest.
Alright, so Raina is ahead 1 objective to 0 in terms of completed objectives, as she has finished the Earth Crystal objective now. We know where 2 other objectives are, so again, still out there for us in broadcast land is the Twin Harp and King and Queen Evelyn. Zoe's going to give us a look at the Earth Crystal item as her merry band of mages has taken down Asura here with a bunch of mage killer gear. And we will see what the item is from the Tower of Zot. Melonverd is asking if this is an all-mage party. It is just the ladies. It is just Rosa, Rydia, and Porum. Or in this case, our friends Kat, Bosa, and Rivers taking on the world. It's Ladies' Night 2, the return of the ladies.
The ladies strike back.
And of course, we've got Sharpened Hanzo Steel for finishing off Asura here. She hands over a Masamune, also known as a big Horkin pile of cash. I remember how Ladies' Night 1 ended. It was pretty good.
Yeah, you took that one down. This is kind of a. So this is hold on. So we've done a couple of these free enterprise races in LGBTQ friendly marathons, and I think that this is the theme of both of them, if I'm not mistaken.
Indeed it is. The first one was for Power with Pride, where because Twin Harp was not required, one of us out of the 4 of us decided to skip it because we're terrible and bad people and hate the fans and hate the crowd and hate all of that. But did that to win by 3.5 minutes.
Who was that? I'm trying to remember. Who hates the crowd and hates marathon tradition?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you.
It was probably Syl, wasn't it?
Look, I went back into the Twin Harp music after the run was over, okay?
Well, at least you admit it. We had fun, though. And the thing about that one that was extra annoying is that marathon, as I see Scala saying, imagine hating Twin Harp in chat, we had a bid war for a song, and Demarine didn't even go check it for the fans. It was, oh man.
This is the part where I get fired, I think.
Nah, they'll just cut your pay in half again, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna get dropped from getting paid 0 to also getting paid 0. All right, so Raina is gonna go ahead and do the Earth Crystal checks up here at this point, as she has decided that this is the time and the place to be. Zoe is here. Z is taking on Volvalis, and then we'll move on to take on Millen Z here, and we'll find that their reward, of course, will be a very good one, as it will be an adamant armor and a ribbon and a protect ring and 800,000 gold pieces and a brand new airship.
I could just still see some really nice kind of convergence, especially since Raina has that better equipment now as well, hopefully.
Yeah, this Volvalis is given Zoe fits, but Z makes it through, and is now going to be onward to taking on the Lord of the Undead. Leggy, thank you for the 300 bits for the resume, because I'm going to get fired for hitting the Twin Harp.
What would you put on your FF4 FE runner resume anyway, Demarine?
What would I put on my FF4 FE resume? Finished 30th at the 2018 Highway to the Zenith Zone. Made flags for the weekly for like 4.5 months. Helped with some of the rebalancing for 4.0. You know, I didn't really do a lot of the direct stuff, but I know I acted as a sounding board to Rivers. We talked a bunch about it way before that this was even a thing that had happened. What else? Did commentary for RPG Limit Break 2019.
See, you have a good resume. I was trying to think of silly things that could go on your resume.
Oh yeah, no, I actually have a really solid CV for randomizer commentary. It's a joke I use in other communities where it's like, you know, hey, I want to do commentary for your community. You want to see my resume? And I just showed them the commentary I did for like RPG Limit Break for Dragon Warrior.
It's pretty good. I remember that run too. I was so excited for you all. That was a good RPG Limit Break. I wish I could have been there.
Yeah, that was a blast. So we've got Leviathan coming out for Raina here. Not quite enough damage on the CPU. So we're likely to see Globe 199 happen if these couple of arrows don't quite get the job done.
Danger, danger.
Globe 199 has one of the highest inbuilt magic damage stats in the game. In most spots, in this spot doing a very meager, I'm gonna say meager right now, 3,700 damage. Because in most spots it just does quad 9 straight up.
Also, a fun fact about Globe 199 is that spot in Free Enterprise, I believe, it might be tied, but it has like the highest magic in the entire game, that CPU boss spot at the top of the giant. And it is specifically so that Globe 199 always did 9999 damage.
And then some. But of course, a couple of jumps later, and the main orb is down. The defender's about to get dumpstered as well. So Rainland just fine here, not seeing too much in the way of troubles here.
Yeah, nicely done. And we have a $20 donation from Bacon Pie that says, "Press B to second quest." PBSQ, I love it.
Man. And of course, Meg Attack is talking about how the ability to jump makes her more interested in this game. I mean, you know, pushing B to jump is really cool because it breaks the game. It lets you do broken things. And broken things are cool. Like, you know, randomizers are just not just all about, you know, doing fair things. It's also about doing broken things.
Yeah, the sequence breaking that you can do with push B to jump is truly a sight to behold, and it just makes for almost a completely different game than the base, obviously the base game, the vanilla game, but then also like kind of base Free Enterprise that doesn't have that flag.
Absolutely. So you've got Zoe over here. She's cleaning up. She skipped the first boss in Baron because we know we didn't need to fight it. So she just jumped over the tile that makes you fight the Lygan spot and was like, "Yeah, I'm cool. You're cool. We're cool. I'm out." And then walked around there to get back to here to fight the second boss, which was just Antlion.
Just an Antlion.
Just Antlion. And Rainbolin's going to upgrade the party here. It's going to get rid of Rivers. I'm really saddened by this. It's going to go Riversless. Rivers free. Nil for Rivers here. And instead it's going to take the Rosa and Cat.
Is that allowed?
I didn't make the rules.
I just feel bad for Rivers.
I do too. Rivers is a sweetheart. So we'll see how Rainalyn deals with this mess over here. Probably with Leviathan. Yeah, it looks like Leviathan is the game plan here. Gonna try and dole out enough damage to sort of get by without the heals overhealing Asura here.
That's some nice damage with that Artemis bow too. Holy cow.
Yeah, Artemis arrow or mute arrows plus the Artemis bow, plus the 4x modifier, plus the adamant armor, plus yeah. And Zoe loots the garbage can in Barren Castle, and of course finds out specifically why the community lovingly calls it the garbage can, because in the garbage can, of course, is just a Boreas, so pretty much literal garbage.
You are not wrong. We're coming up. We just passed the 1 hour mark of the run. So let me just say again, welcome everyone to Undefined Behavior. Thank you so much for being here with us this evening. For this event, we are raising funds for the Trevor Project, an American nonprofit organization that focuses on suicide prevention efforts among lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning people under 25 years of age. It operates the Trevor Lifeline, a confidential service that offers trained counselors through a toll-free phone number. The Trevor Project is committed to producing research that brings new knowledge and clinical implications to the field of suicidology, and also advocates for laws and policies that will reduce suicide among LGBTQ plus young people. We are delighted to support this invaluable life-affirming organization. So thank you so much for being here. We are really close to hitting the $3,000 mark raised in donations already, and I believe there's still about, 2 days and some change left of marathon to go. So let's see how high we can get that donation total over the course of this long holiday weekend here.
Absolutely. So Zoe jumped around the building to get to the back door of Baron pretty quickly and found sitting on the throne was just Water Hag. So you just need to hit Water Hag 3 times, and this fight is OVER over. So we got a freebie on the Baron throne for our runners. So both runners, once they get to the Baron throne, will have no problem taking this down. So Zoe's going to light up her first objective, as she is going to take down the Baron Castle Odin spot first, and gets the pass for her troubles.
I imagine we are fighting Zeromus still at the end of the seed.
I heard that Zeromus does exist within this game, and we do need to fight him, yes.
I see. And also, I just have to point out that Raina has found Rubicant, aka Leg, and he did, in fact, stick his leggy out real far and eat a Leviathan.
Put his feet in the waves and the tides, and got washed away.
He just wanted to dip his toe into the water, and I think he fell in.
Always respect the power of the ocean, everybody. It is very powerful.
Scala in chat saying it will be a new Zeroma sprite, so we still have that to look forward to, as well as a new randomized twin harp song, which is one of our required objectives, so the runners will be finding that at some point along the way as well. Both making pretty good progress as far as finding the things that they need so far.
Alright, so Zoe's opened up the old treasury here, and so now she will be on she will now be on 2 completed objectives here, as she is going to tangle with the hardest boss in Free Enterprise right now. I got $5 on the inventory boss win in this one, though, not going to lie. Yeah,
this late in the seed, your inventory is just an embarrassment of riches, even in most seeds, but especially in a flag set with this quality treasure like this. So,
yeah, absolutely. And we talk a lot about it, is that you're looking at okay, this is an adamant armor, I want that. That's a power shirt, I want that. There's a ribbon, I've already got one of those in my inventory. Sure, now I got 2. One of the big and super nice quality of life things that are in the randomizer is the ability to push R to just discard an item and not bring it in your inventory, which can save you a ton of time. And as long as you don't leave the screen, you can re-talk to that treasure chest and get the item a second time. Once you leave the room, that item is lost forever.
Yes, and it also, if you do get rid of an item, it does not replace that item in the treasure chest, so you have to be a little bit careful not to throw something away that you actually want. Alright,
so Raina is going to get her look at the bin o' trash, which is full of trash that nobody wants. Boreas at this juncture in the run with Leviathan summons and Artemis bows and, adamant armors, and yeah, all of this is we're not here for this right now.
You know what's better than a trashy key item check?
Second quest?
Second quest. And yes, we did get another donation from Lady Linealia. Third quest. Or, if that's not an option, a second quest will be all right too. Lady Linealia, let's get through the second quest and then maybe we'll see about a third quest. How does that sound?
What would a third quest look like?
I don't even know what the second quest is going to look like, or the first quest for that matter, actually. Do you know a little bit about this Legend of Zelda prototype that's coming up next?
I know Tetra's been streaming practice of it, and I've missed all of them because life is busy and annoying and gets in the way of doing cool things with people who are really cool in the community.
Ooh, I know that feeling. That got deep.
I got deep. Yeah, no, life is busy like that. Desreprot's asking about the 64th quest, which, we're not going there. Nobody wants the 64th quest.
Yeah, the marathon format is no 64. Sorry, Des.
Oh yeah, Zoe's using a pretty specific glitch here. Zoe is MP underflowing her Rydia here. Setting her MP and using spells beyond the limit of your magic is a glitch that you can do in this game that basically gives you infinite power until you use a tent, a magic restorative.
You also can't use magic outside of combat, which is one of the things that does make that glitch a little bit of a double-edged sword. But yes, if you want offensive magic in combat, you really can't beat it. Which in this format, I would say we probably do, especially with a Leviathan knowing cat there in the middle, or I guess at the top now.
Yeah, but also with an adamant armor and a bunch of magic casting gear. So with a tiara, 15 magic power, with a adamant armor, 15 magic power, with a Sork shirt, another 5. I believe that was a Lilith rod for another 5. So yeah, those Leviathans are gonna do work.
It's going to be a mighty storm. Interestingly, taking the gauntlet fight here is Zoe, which, I mean, I guess if you just really want that new fresh cat for your middle spot, which does have some strategic implications that we will probably talk about a little bit later. But for now, yeah.
So on Raina's side, she went down and deposited Waterhagen into the sea, and took the pass from the Barren Throne. So she is on 2 completed objectives at this point. So making way, Meg Attack is letting us know that we are very close. We are $100 away from getting to second quest. All donations going to the Trevor Project, which we've spoken about a couple of times already. Fantastic charity, certainly. So.
Let's just take a second, too, to just thank all of the folks who are helping to make this marathon happen right now. We've got just an amazing staff, an amazing group of people who are helping to put this on all weekend long for everybody's entertainment. So I think those of us who have done marathons before, we get sort of how much goes into this, and it takes a lot. It takes a collective, honestly. So thank you everybody who is helping out with this entire event all weekend long.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've gotten here through other means, or from watching friends, or from the Free Enterprise community, or however you may have arrived at this place today, you should certainly follow the Edgecase Collective. Just a fantastic group of speedrunners and game queers, and the Stalemate had a crystal sword. Why don't they do this in the Siege when I have Cecil? Come on.
That was too funny. I was just going to comment on that regardless of what Rainalyn got, and then to pull the crystal sword out there. Oh my gosh, that's too funny.
Now I'm sad. I'm not going to be sad anymore.
That's okay. We don't need no heckin' crystal sword. Come on.
But crystal sword.
Overrated.
Yeah, tell that to everybody running in the football gauntlet. Just crushing seeds left and right with just a Crystal Sword Cecil and a Rosa.
No, you're definitely right. So, but hey, no Cecil around to ruin it tonight.
He's taking the day off. Probably just hanging out, taking a vacation, chilling.
They're probably all having a Zoom happy hour somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know times are tough these days, you know. This is like the opposite of the Final Fantasy IV plot originally, though, because this is the ladies getting it done. So I know you mentioned that you played this game when you were a kid. Who was your favorite character when you were younger?
My favorite character was definitely Rydia, and Edge was my least favorite character, so I was very unhappy that they kind of seemed to like each other.
There's a lot of Rydia fans out there. Like, it's wild, just in terms of both the Free Enterprise community and just in general, just how many... Just the sheer number of Rydia fans there are.
I mean, she got to be friends with the animals, so that's pretty great.
That's fair, I guess.
How about you?
Like, you need to ask. I have a brand, dang it.
I mean, I'm aware. I don't know if everybody in chat is aware.
Oh, it was definitely Rosa. Like, 100%. Alright, so we've got Raina exacting some revenge here. Gonna take down these ogres. These ogres many. Has not found life potions in shops, I don't think, so does not have any left. But still, the Rosa with the charm arrows is going to exact some pretty severe revenge here, as is, you know, this Rydia with all of this magic damage gear is actually getting through, and actually doing damage here, and these Leviathan summons do enough magic damage that they will get through and do some damage. But of course those arrows are really the quickest way to do the job.
Kind of nerdy housewife in chat pointing out that Rydia is great. She's the first character I remember in a game that saved all the boys. At least once, if not more than once.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's like the canon saving of the boys, and then there's like all the times where, you know, she would queue up a Mega Nuke or an Ashura and save everybody, so yeah.
Kicking back in, this is Syl. There's actually 2 different times that she comes to save the day, if you think about it.
Look, when they all pop, when Rose and Rydia pop out of the big whale at the top of the moon, when the boys are like, let's go save the world without the girls because we're idiots.
Yeah, I hated them for that decision. I thought that was the stupidest thing, even when I was 8 or 9 or however old I was when I played that game. I was like, who's gonna heal the party? Cecil, come on now.
Look, your two's bad. You know,
Hi, Syl. How are you doing?
Hi. I'm briefly trying to catch up on exactly what happened up until now. Looks like there's a decent amount of progress. What are the actual objectives?
So there are 5 of them. The Twin Heart required, not yet located. Earth Crystal was at Barren Inns. They needed to open the Troya Treasury. Both our runners did. They found ribbons and adamant armors and, you know, power shirts and sorcerer shirts, and, you know, it was basically Christmas. It was like Christmas, but better. It was like double Christmas. You know, and then King and Queen Eblin still out there at large. We have no idea where the lovely couple is. Dark Elf was located, but not yet killed. It is behind the Luca Key, which is located in the Land of Some Monsters. And both our runners did find the Baron Key from looting out the Luca Key, which turned into the Pan, which when you hit Yang in the head, got you a Baron Key, and Water Hag was waiting for our runners, so a freebie on the Baron Throne, to complete that objective and get their hands on the pass as well. Dijon asking, is double Christmas, so I mean Hanukkah? Yeah, that's actually kind of what I mean, honestly, it's Hanukkah. Raina, no, you don't need to fight this. You jumped over. Just walk onto the tile. You're fine. You got this. Just keep moving. Don't fight Ogopogo. Ogopogo hates you and wants you to die.
This is definitely a cursed a cursed boss fight for sure. Although I think I don't know how the logic works exactly with the push B to jump, but I believe the darkness crystal was kind of the initial progression that was required, because Zoe did find the magma key, but that was after Zoe got underground and did, I believe, the Pan quest.
Yeah, so the hook is most likely up above on the moon itself. So yeah, our runners are replete with gear. One might even say stacked. Zoe's been taking advantage of the MP underflow on Rydia to cast many copies of Leviathan. Rainalin's just been counting on Ether 2s and levels to do the same here. Also adamant armor.
And I believe they both have an Artemis bow now as well.
Yeah, and a couple of ribbons and a bunch of tiaras, and that's a power shirt. If you're gonna have an Archer Rosa, power shirt is quite good. All right, so Raina does dump Ogopogo into the drink here, and it's a second lunar boss here. So this is either D-Lunars or Plague, I believe, at this point.
I don't know if we've seen Pale Dim yet.
I don't know if we've seen Pale Dim either, but this is the Lunar Dragons. Again, you can skip this fight. You just need to walk. You just need to walk on by. Walk on by.
But this shouldn't be too difficult of a fight either for this party. So the Lunar Dragons will counterattack a basic attack, but they will not counterattack an aim. So between Sylph for healing and Leviathan and aim for damage, they should go down without too much difficulty.
You strictly don't want to cast Sylph on this fight though, because they counter summons by casting Remedy, which heals them for 10% of their maximum hit points, which at this spot is going to be like over 1,000 hit points each, which is bad. Like casting Leviathan
will do enough damage to get over it, but
Yep.
Right, the Sylph will not.
I think you still win the damage race, but it is definitely a little bit slower, unfortunately.
Well,
I thought I saw Artemis arrows.
Damage race isn't the only thing you're concerned about against D-Lunars. You're also concerned about the race against Breath. Because after, 7 turns, I think? They cast Breath on basically your whole party. Unless somebody has immunity or something.
I don't remember specifically if stuff like adamant armor and ribbons will block that, but we'll find out, I suspect.
And that is, so there are also quote-unquote breath strats that people in chat are talking about. The breath that they cast, it can be reflected. And it will turn them into silenced frogs.
Basically, randomizers let you find some of the weirdest things, because obviously back in the day, way back in the day, you could theoretically do that. Because D-Lunars were a moon boss, you could have Wall on Rosa. There's a heal for 1260, by the way. Here comes the breath, and it just whiffs everybody. So yeah, not even a concern at this point.
I think if one person is totally immune, then it just fails, or something like that.
Also this spot has basically 0 magic output, because it's the Rubicon spot. The magic damage in this location is so low. Yep, so it looks like Zoe went back into the sealed cave to get her revenge on Dark Elf. And by get her revenge, I mean probably mercilessly throw sea serpents at until dead.
I will say it's very just satisfying to see Raina taking down all of these bosses with the 3 characters that we have in the party, though. And I suspect for a lot of the people watching, this isn't something they're usually used to seeing. So there's quite a bit of novelty to what Raina is doing, even if it's maybe not required. It's still fun to watch and very entertaining.
Yeah, being able to overwhelm some of these brutal bosses that in tough spots that can normally take your party apart is really cool. I mean, Zoe, no slouch at that either here, as this Dark Elf is getting bodied pretty badly right now by Leviathan. Yeah, and of course, when there's only 1 D-Lunar left, it counters every action with fire, which is really, really frustrating. It ends up just stripping away your health, even with the magic. With the resisting characters will take 10% damage, and non-resisting characters will take 25. It's a lot of damage. Like, you can just see that this party is just getting torn apart right now, even with the adamant armor, which is giving you massive, massive resistances. But does get through, does take it down, so that's great.
Jumping Cat took it down at the end there, which is another way to kind of get around some of the nasty scripts that the D-Lunars have, is anything other than basic attack, they get nasty mode, and jumping is not one of those things, so very nicely done.
You get to push B and jump, it's pretty cool.
Push B to jump, it's not just for sequence breaking. I just want to quickly remind everybody as well that our next run that is following this, the Legend of Zelda Prototype bonus second quest, any %, is a donation incentive that we are really trying to meet here. We've got just a little bit more than $100 that we need to raise for that donation incentive. So let's keep those donations coming on in. We really want to see that in the run that is to follow this. So make sure that when you make those donations to the Trevor Project, go ahead and choose that target of Legend of Zelda Prototype bonus second quest, any % run when you put that in.
Do it for twice the Zelda. More Zelda action than you could chicken stick at.
I mean, there's no such thing as too much Zelda.
I mean, there was Skyward Sword. Actually, Skyward Sword was pretty cool when I think about it. You know, execution wasn't perfect, but the concepts are really cool, and the motion controls are pretty cool for the time. I'm gonna stop bagging on Skyward Sword. I think I've come around on Skyward Sword.
We just had a moment here. You you learned something about yourself.
Yeah, I feel good. I feel free.
Somewhat enlightened, maybe?
Possibly.
Raina is heading into Dwarf Castle, which I don't think is a check that we've seen yet.
There's a ninja hat down here, so if you want a little bit more, you want 3 more agility on one of your characters, it's not a bad get, honestly. Samurai bow, so just gonna gear up a bunch here. Of course, more importantly, hey, Sil, I got a question.
Oh yeah?
So if you're playing a Kaizo game, would it be push jump to B? Oh god, that crystal sword got sold for like 63,000 gold, and now I'm sad. I'm sad again!
My favorite part of the large bank accounts that both of our runners have, Sil, I believe you missed this earlier, is that the Tamara job dwarf is a tax accountant. Was it? No, it was tax auditor. It was even worse. So
it's the tax auditor. But again, we determined, and I looked it up on the internet, and the internet never lies, that dwarves, as long as you're selling stuff for half price, you don't have to pay taxes on it.
I'm Did you get this advice from Yoshi, tax preparer?
No, I would never talk to Yoshi about preparing my taxes.
I know who you're friends with. You can't lie.
I wonder if he works for H&R Dwarf.
Alright, so Raina at Dwarf. Zoe's doing the worst check in the game. Top of Keyless Tower, because, you know, eventually you have to make this check because life is terrible and awful and you don't want to go to the moon, I guess.
Why not, though? Why not just... I heard the moon is lovely this time of year.
It's the same every time of year Moon plays Wolf. They don't have seasons up there, it's just the moon.
I need to break in. We have a very exciting thing to announce, and that is we got a $101 anonymous donation. No comment, but it went to the Legend of Zelda prototype bonus run, and that incentive is now met. So we did that. We did the thing. There will be a second Legend of Zelda prototype bonus run, and we just crossed the $3,000 threshold for money raised for the Trevor project. So let's get a huge round of applause in chat. Let's get a bunch of second quest messages, and let's get some hype for 3K. Nicely done, everybody.
So would be getting to 4096 be the third quest then?
I would say that's the final quest, but I don't think that's going to be the case this weekend. We got so much marathon left to go.
But yeah, seriously, thank you everybody. You're all amazing. Thank you for your support. Thank you for coming out and watching. Thank you for watching these two ladies jump around the world as we know it and break Free Enterprise. I think Zoe heard me. I think Zoe felt my presence, and after getting legitimately nothing at the top of Keyless Tower is like, you know what? To heck with this place. I'm out.
I'll just mention to everybody as well then that our next goal, our next donation incentive that you can put your donations towards is there is a Life is Strange glitch exhibition. That is a $400 donation goal. So if you would like to see some crazy glitches in Life is Strange, which I haven't seen a ton of that game, but I suspect there's probably some pretty weird graphical things that you can do in that game. $400 to see all of that stuff a little bit later on this evening. Oh, hey, Zoe's on the moon now.
Zoe's checking for value in Cape Bahamut.
That's some Mega Sisters.
That rates. I think I'm okay with that here. Does it die to Leviathan? If so, I'm all about that life.
Well, the funny thing about this spot, you might be wondering why Zoe is fighting a boss spot on the moon with this party with these levels, and the interesting thing about that is you'll see here in just a second. The Mega Sisters magic attacks are currently scaled to this Bahamut spot, and that spot has one of the lowest magic attack values in the entire randomizer.
Yeah, this spot's magic damage is really meager. The swings that you get out of the Three Sisters when they do the attack is pretty brutal. It's actually really an oddity of the game. And again, we talk about the things that randomizer teach us about games that we didn't know when we were younger. The oddity of the game is that these spots that have primarily magic attacks, like Mega Nuke, or primarily at the Bahamut and Wyvern spot or Leviathan spot down in Land of Summon Monsters, is that for some odd reason they have mammoth physical attack powers that Rosa gets clocked for 2200 damage and just drops like a stone. Magic output not great. The physical output though is pretty stellar. but this Rosa with the now having the equip the Elven Bow for the Mage Slayer because these are mages, and just rips through the Mega Sisters in a hurry here. So DPS through the roof now.
It's also worth noting that Zoe has 10 key items, I believe. Just got the 11th key item there, the tower key. And because of that, Zoe will be getting double experience points from all of the fights that she does for the rest of the run.
That's twice the experience. That's real good. We've got Raina who bought, I believe, some diamond rings down here, and the Lynn of some monsters is doing some upgrading, making her party a little bit better. Also bought samurai arrows as well.
You got to spend that 5 million GP on something, I guess.
Yep. So Zoe did get the tower key from Cave Bahamut and is immediately turning her tail around and heading back to the ground. I guess wants to go turn in that tower key immediately. Interestingly enough, Pan is really hard to see, and so is Adamant. So she was at 10. Zoe is now at 11. Darkness Crystal, Earth Crystal package, the 4 keys, Adamant, Pan, Spoon, and Rat Tail for 11.
I totally thought Zoe had 9 the first time I looked at it as well, and I kind of did I recounted and I was like, oh, nope, it's 10.
I did the double take before I started talking, and that's why I'm a good commentator.
I'm a good host because I get to read lots of donations for you all, and the donations during this run have just been amazing, so thank you so much, everybody, for donating. We've got a $10.50 donation from Meg Mac Attack that says, how many seconds could a second quest if a second quest... Dang it, I'm going to have to start over. I'm assuming that was the reason for this comment. How many seconds could a second quest if a second quest could quest seconds? Congratulations, Meg. You officially tied the tongue of the host.
Destroyed.
I was no match for that comment.
Alright, so Raina bought a bunch of sirens and is going to scramble a bunch of eggs here for experience purposes only.
Zoe's opting for calamari.
The sylphs are just gonna quickly wreck this squid, and she's gonna leave the tower and get whatever item is at the bottom waiting for her. Raises up that Rosa to get her some levels, and she just keeps dying, which interestingly enough might be good for slingshotting purposes, because if your character is over 5 or more levels lower than the median party member, not average, median party member, there's a reason for that, it's Fusoya, then you end up getting double experience points from fights, on top of any other bonuses, like double experience from 10 key items. This is just a way to let you change your party late in the game. It is really helpful for newer players.
But when we talk about slingshotting, there's also, you can kind of do this strategically. If one of your characters is very far behind, then you can kind of deliberately leave them far behind and then get a huge boatload of XP all at once, have that be additionally doubled, and it can end up shooting them ahead of where the rest of your party is. And that in particular tends to occur at using, one of a couple different ways of getting a silly amount of XP all from one encounter.
So there is sort of value at Cave Bahamut as it turns into the Legend Sword. So Zoe's gonna, I guess, forge an Excalibur and convert it to cash because we don't actually need an Excalibur. Because
yeah, but this does open up this shop, and this shop is real valuable.
I miss Cecil.
Sir not appearing in this film.
I mean, look,
Hey, at least today we know Cecil won't show up.
Yeah, so we found a crystal sword. Look, selling, Artemis arrows and heroin ropes. Do you want your
wow.
Do Do you need a Rosa to do maximum damage
need
with
a-
her Arctis
Do you
bow?
need do you need a warrior princess? This is how you get a warrior princess.
Yeah, do you want to shoot arrows that do over 2,500 damage? Do you want to do quad 9s to dragons?
Honestly, I feel like that's the perfect Cockle shot for the seed in this format.
It really is. Like the sheer stats that you get from the heroine robe, even though it drops your wisdom and will, it gives you so much base magic defense anyway that it fails to matter. Can you cast healing magic anymore? No. Does it matter? Also no. And we're overflowing the other Iridian now that her magic output's pretty darn low.
So the way that glitch is done, you saw Zoe working on it. It does a lot of times take a few attempts to do it, but you basically take a spell that you would be able to cast in that party member menu. So like the Toad spell, for example, but you don't actually have the MP to cast it, and you kind of trick the game into thinking that you want to cast or you want to activate this other spot that's right next to it in the menu. And then if you do it right, the game doesn't really know what to do and it freaks out. And that's when you get infinite magic points.
Raina continues to grind because grinding is good and how you become powerful and to destroy the world. I mean, not destroy the world. Sorry, wrong game. Flex on your enemies. Flexing on your enemies is where it's at.
I mean, you just eat your eggs and you grow up big and strong.
Gotta get that protein.
All that protein.
That reference.
That is from Demarine. Do you want to share?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, it's from Agretzko.
I loved that one.
I probably didn't do the voice very well, but yeah,
That's-
It was
there's
enough to be recognizable for me.
It's a difficult voice to do.
it's the kind of thing that I get a little scared screaming protein into the mic because I'm worried I'm going to like make everybody's eardrums bleed. So you kind of have to go for it, but you can't when you're doing this. So
Zoe has removed Rivers from her party, and now I am fully sad. I have achieved full sadness now, everybody. I'm sorry. Full sadness is achieved.
I thought there were supposed to be 3 ladies in this seed.
Rivers is done for the day. Taking the rest of the night off. Considering all the work Rivers does for the community, I think he's earned it.
It's probably past her bedtime.
Also true.
Also, Ram the pup, I believe it's a kangaroo, but I'm not 100% sure.
Zoe's return to the moon. Does not jump over the side to get to the one chest on the first floor because I don't know why. Because who opens that chest anyway?
So I'm trying to think, did Zoe leave anything on Earth that still needs to be done? I don't think so, but
The two bosses in the Fey March.
Oh yeah, good call.
Alright, so gonna use these hourglasses, gonna summon up some dragons here. You mentioned doing quad 9s to dragons. I think we're about to see it happen.
Or we could just drown them.
Or we could just drown them. Drowning them works too.
Or a combo.
Little column A, little arrow B. 7,152 damage. Flat $6,000. Canonically, in this game, she is 6 years of age, I believe, either 5 or 6, depending on the translation. She is young. Yeah, in this one in particular, she is a child. She, of course, is in her late teens or early 20s in after years. Yeah, that's one of the newer bad palettes too, by the way, Ralphian.
She's allowed to have a little bit of Bacchus wine, but only under adult supervision. Hey, it's just the culture on the blue planet, okay? I don't know. It's a little different from our own, but we have to be accepting of other types of people.
That's valid. There's some quad 9s. There you go.
Well, while both of our runners are doing a little bit of grinding here, I'm going to go ahead and just take a second and tell everybody a little bit more about Edge Case Collective. Undefined Behavior is being put on by Edge Case Collective, a streaming group made up of creative queers who play, build, and break games in interesting ways. Follow us at twitch.tv/EdgeCaseCollective for more great content. I think we're all doing that right now, actually. But make sure to follow if you're not already following.
And if you are following and you find a way to glitch it and follow twice, please let us know, because I'd love to follow them twice.
A pretty cool glitch. I'm also sad that nobody's keeping Porum around.
I mean, I even made sure that they were named rivers because traditions must be upheld and maintained. But yeah, both our runners are farming away right now. Raina's scrambling a bunch of eggs. Zoe went to the moon and is taking down these King Ryus until her party has infinite HP, apparently. Rose is cracking 2200 on both sides soon. Occasionally getting a silver apple for her troubles as well, so for bonus 50 HP for quicker leveling.
Follower underflow glitch. I like it, Bacon Pie. I have got a donation to read. It is $50 from Silverfire, and their comment is, I had promised to spend $1 for every 1,000 gold spent that I was provided by the cheat feature in FF4 NES. However, this was less than planned since carts 2 and 3 don't have that ridiculous amount of starting money. So here's about what I expected to spend. So I caught the beginning of that earlier, Silverfire. Do you want to talk about the other FF4 run that happened earlier today, or do you just want to forget about it?
It was special. No, it was actually pretty enjoyable overall. I had a lot of fun with it.
I just know the cursor was like giving you so much trouble,
the cursor was constantly just like, I swear I'm not touching my D. I'm not even like my D-pad is like, that's the controller I speedrun on all the time. I went back and like tested on some other things, like the controller's not doing that, right? No, the controller is not in fact doing that. just in combat when I was like trying to go through the spell menu, and it's like, I want to go right. Let's go cast some white magic. I want to cast some white. No, I don't want to cast that. Let's do Cure 1. And not like Quake.
It was something else. I'd heard of that demake before. I had not personally seen it, and oh my gosh, it was just as awful as I could have imagined, if not more so.
Alright, by the by, we do actually have Zoe breaking out of the loop of grinding and has found Evil Wall at the ribbon spot here, but
Is she boss hunting? Or is
we're still out for a boss and a Twin Harp, so Twin Harp is still out there somewhere. The other interesting thing is that the only chain item Zoe still has that is hanging out that we don't know where it is the hook, and we know it's got to be probably either up here or at Land of Summon Monsters. But yeah, she ground right up to getting Nuke on her team, so now she is decided that overwhelming power is the way to go.
like wasn't 100% sure, because this is another one of those fights that you can just hop over with the press B to jump.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if there's a factor here in why she decided to take the fight, if there was like a boss that she needed to fight, or if maybe she wants the XP, because this is 200,000 XP, and that is not a slouch.
That's a whole pile of experience points.
Could just be tired of jumping too.
Yeah, it's leg day, and it's been a long leg day. Doing a lot of squats here, leg lifts, presses. Maybe just wants to nuke some things and show off how powerful she's become.
There's one thing Final Fantasy IV is known for, it's the back attacks.
Oh, it's always at Ribbon Spot, isn't it? Why do I never go to Ribbon Spot? Why am I so bad at this game?
That was the Twin Harp.
That, of course, it was
you
the
never
Twin
get a
Harp.
ribbon spot because you have the uncanny ability to like will it to be not at ribbon spot.
Yeah, I guess. Underflowing Ridias here. These Ridias are now powerful. Gonna check. Now all we need now is King and Queen Evelyn. That's it. That's all that's at large right now.
You can just reset out of things that aren't that.
Nope. Don't need to fight that. That's a mom bomb. Heck with that. Moving on. And yeah, and Zoe knows where she stands in terms of her objective. She knows what's up, so she is just beelining boss spots, checking in, saying hi, and then ditching.
Don't even need the hook anymore as well.
Nope, we know it's not necessary. Raina is gonna get some more sirens, gonna probably cash in for some more levels here, which makes good sense because levels are good. Zoe goes a long way around to show off that you can jump over that. One little notch there.
That was definitely a swag jump.
That was just to be showing off, yeah. There's Plague. We don't need this.
Well, I'm gonna read a... Go ahead, Sil.
I was just wondering. I'm thinking that Zoe might show off on this fight as well. She looks like she's going to kill it, even though we don't need it.
Just gonna let the fire fly here. Or as our commentary coordinator for Enterprise loves to say, just shove that boss right in the microwave.
Just nuke for 45 seconds on high.
Plague also weak to arrows, which is just making this even worse for it. So anyway, I have a $20 donation here, and I'm going to read it. It's from Margaret Ann. Margaret Ann says, an old man told me this legend about Edge Case Collective, one to mod here as a friendo hosting, the gamers, and the commentators, ensures the chill place where we can watch games. A special community with the light of queerness. It brings another promise to all us viewers with a niceness and goodness. That was adorable, Margie. Thank you for sharing that. Hey, what did Plague have?
A crystal ring.
We already have like 3 of those.
I love it. It's like, I guess that's alright, I guess. Alright, Zoe. Zoe's gonna show us the wyvern spot now. Rainalyn is done grinding here.
It just occurred to me, you can probably hop left there.
You can hop from bridge to bridge there.
I'm actually more disappointed that Zoe didn't do the shortcut to the wyvern spot on the way down.
Didn't do Save Pointless Wyvern, the one jump. Yeah, that's a jump that not a lot of people know, but you can jump over to the wyvern spot. Since some of the doors in Lunar Subterrane are just reverse doors, basically they just move you back to where you were last to save programming space. What ends up happening is that you fight the wyvern and then you walk through the door and you end up back where you were.
Dangerous, however, because when we say without saving, like you don't have access to that save.
Yep. Baron guards.
Like, you know, when people do know it, they might not feel safe to. Especially because Zoe had just grinded a whole bunch of gold dragons and probably doesn't want to risk that exp.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, just Baron guards just drops 2 coffins and drops them because they're technically not bosses. They're kind of sort of bosses, I guess, question mark. So, they get wrecked, and we already got like 6 of those too.
I think we have like 11 of those now.
We can get infinite of those as long as we have the money.
A lot of money.
A lot.
We have
of money.
we have more heroine robes than heroines.
Well, I mean, there's like, what, 12 character spots in.
They're nice robes. They make you strong and fast and powerful.
So yeah, you need hero robes, not just for the 5 in your party, but also for the ones that, you know,
are waiting for you in the Tower of Wishes in Mysidia.
Yeah.
They just want to be pretty.
Robes for everyone.
So what spots are left for King Queen Evelyn? It is literally this spot here and the Giant. We've seen everything else. And Twin Heart.
Yeah, wait, have we seen Twin Heart?
No, we have not seen Twin Heart. Neither runner checked the Twin Heart boss. Because you can't.
They checked the key item, not the boss.
Yep, you can't check the boss without the harp. This is a vanilla Pale Dim. Completely unrandomized. Has no idea. Was never fixed.
Pale Dim is a dragon.
Man, that Rose is really angry at dragons. Look how angry that Rose is at dragons. We're gonna see how angry this Rose is at dragons in a second.
I'm scared.
I know, it's bad. Look, quad 9s. Margie, please. Well, no, it's not at hook route. It's not at hook route because it's push B to jump. We were able to jump over and check the hook bosses already.
One thing I forgot to mention with those last couple donations is we have a new donation incentive that's been opened. It's for a run. I believe it's the last run of, I would say the day, but it's going to be like in the middle of the night where I am. So wherever you are, the last run before sleepy time, and that is Watum. And there is a donation target for Meet the Prince that is $400. And Silverfire's $50 donation went towards that. Margie's $20 donation went towards that Life is Strange glitch exhibition, which will also be one of the runs later on this evening as well. So if you want to get your donations in and put them towards more cool stuff for the marathon, make sure that you put it towards a target when you do send your donation in.
I like cool stuff.
It's like free stuff that we all get just for you watching the marathon and donating to an amazing cause.
So what do you think that the boss that we need, King and Queen Evelyn, is sitting up on the Giant waiting for us? Wondering why we're not going up there.
I mean, I haven't seen like what we have and haven't seen, so I'm not going to even bother guessing. I'm betting the King and Queen Evelyn's going to be the second of those 2 boss fights in the Giant, though.
That would be awesome. Oh, is Zoe doing the thing?
She doesn't want to rest in bed because that would mess up her glitched MP situation on her radios.
It's fine.
Force her to be
It's fine. Your glitched MP breaks for this fight anyway because it's a storyline fight, and you get a full heal after you die.
right.
So you can't unmess it up because it's going to get messed up. On
the other hand, Rady has over 400 MP anyway. It'll be fine.
Oh man, it's almost time. This is what the fans have been waiting for. This is what everyone's been waiting for 2 hours. This is what you wanted. This is what you get with Free Enterprise. Calamity worked real hard on this, and when Comp works real hard on a harp song, it's generally real good.
This is a debut harp song.
So I believe that it's almost time for us all to take a moment. But once the harp cutscene starts, I believe we're all gonna take a moment to be quiet and enjoy the show, because I'm gonna turn my music on. Darn it, I want to hear this.
Tiaras are metallic gears, so gets us past phase 1 really quick. And here we are.
If you're not grooving along to Crazy Motorcycle Chase, I don't know what's up with you at this point. That was real good.
Oh, and here's our King Queen Eblan.
So that's it, not on the giant. So you get the 2-for-1 banger here. You get the boss, you get the banger. Let's go home. It's almost time. Zoe's got go mode.
I have to say though, Zoe, just let the music play.
Yeah, just talk to the harp and let it rock for a little bit.
That's such an amazing song. I'm very happy that we got to all hear that tonight.
Zoe gets the rock. Zoe's in go mode. Zoe's got the pass. Zoe is mere feet away from Troya as well. Zoe's done some grinding. She's got some nukes on her radius. But I think, most importantly, we got the crystal, and you know what that means. It's time for the most important question in Free Enterprise.
I don't know. Why do they flavor things this way?
Blaze, maybe you can tell us what the most important question in Free Enterprise is.
Why do the monsters keep increasing?
There you go! Got it in one! Wait, no, that's for vanilla. We don't run vanilla. This is Free Enterprise. Everyone knows the most important question in Free Enterprise is why didn't we get Rex Rule to commentate this run? He's way better than I am. Wait, no, that's also not it. Wait, Zoe, where are you going? Zoe, Zeromus is over there. Zoe, you left Zeromus behind.
Looks like she might be grabbing an anchor.
She might be grabbing an anchor.
She's grabbing an anchor.
You could just use level. You could just use your 20. You've got crystal rings and ninja hats. Just use a level. Just use a 28 agility. I'm sad. Oh no, no, don't do this. You're gonna make me sad. No, I'm about to get sad. It's sad time now. We're gonna sacrifice. We're not gonna sacrifice a. No, we would never do that. I mean, Rosa's fine. You can sacrifice a Rosa to the ether. That's cool. But not Porum. Porum's taking it on the chin too long.
I think you got your wish, Demi. Also, I'm with you. These darn kids these days with their free enterprise only knowing how to anchor with curse strings.
Well, gonna take off the heroin robes because they reduce your magic power. Gonna take off the Artemis gear because that reduces your magic power. And I guess now she's gonna fly on back to Troya, and then we're actually have to ask the actual most important question in Free Enterprise, which is, Scala, what has your maniacal mind wrought? Whose butt are we gonna kick tonight?
This abuse, just like that debut.
Something new, everybody. We're gonna get something. We're getting a debut sprite tonight for the Edge Case Collective for Undefined Behavior.
I dare say I hope it's an extra queer sprite.
I hope it's a boss from Lena's Inception. That would be really cool. Like, that would be real fitting for this marathon. A very glitchy game, you know, based on a classic RPG. I'd be into that. Scala giving us hints. It was from a game that we saw yesterday.
Runs to the schedule.
Run to the schedule, everybody! We're gonna find out who it is. Just a moment.
Is it wrong that I hope it's from Speaking Simulator?
Oh god, please, that'd be so cursed! Even for us. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this is the other one that I was hoping it was from.
Oh, this is really powerful. Ah.
Also gonna be really, really dead soon.
Yeah, gonna keep reflecting these nukes until... Gonna take the first big bang and just keep reflecting these nukes until 61,000 damage, and it's basically all over and done. Yeah, no, I guess I got the Inception part of the boss sprite, but not the Lena's part. Oh well, I'll take 50%.
That's a lot of Z Sprite.
It is a lot of Z sprite. It is comparably sized to my favorite one, which is Feedback and Ideas Miss, or Discord Miss, as it is known in the game. This is awesome.
I'm always a big fan of Moon Miss.
The mood's creepy.
Really is. So I also love I'm having this idea in my head that this is how Scala does her palette swaps using Mario Paint, and I think that might have to be canon now.
Harp tracks only made in Mario Paint.
I mean, did you watch the song percent yesterday? It's a solid medium. I was amazed with that song that Tuesday came up with.
Oh yeah, no, it was really impressive. It was a party, and it was really cool.
Yeah, that was the one. That was the one run that I sent to a friend of mine who doesn't really care that much about speedrunning, and I was like, "You got to check out this cool thing that they're doing on Twitch."
It's real cool. Alright, the Sir doing work here. Zoe is trying to wrap this fight up. Needs to get Reflect back up as Black Hole has taken Reflect from us.
I do just want to call out as well that I believe Raina did take out the Dark Elf and got another objective notched on the belt there.
Yep. All Raina now needs at this point in time is to needs to trip up to the moon and do the ribbon spot. Doesn't even need to do the boss, just needs to hop over the boss and grab the harp and go, but she doesn't really know that yet.
Nice thing is, I'm pretty sure there's not much that Raina has left to do on the blue planet here, so I think we'll see her go to the moon soon.
I love this so much.
Oh, and
that's time for Zoe.
Yep, GG's to ZoeVermilion.
Lots of the Free Enterprise GG's out in chat. You got the Duster of GG, you got your GG out there, you got the Blaze GG, Skull's GG, Cat's GG. A lot of community members around there, but yeah, nice smooth kill for Zoe and Zeromus's history.
Zoe's really taken to Free Enterprise in the last couple months. It's been really exciting.
Room for one more?
I mean, only if you agree to a Demarin versus ZoeVermilion Free Enterprise grudge match.
Is that?
Are you two fighting over like the fact that Zoe has stolen your two's partner?
I think Demarine's just mad at the lack of rivers in that final fight, and honestly, most of the seed.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty down about that. I'm feeling pretty.
So
I should have kept Porn for honor.
I was going to. That was the initial plan, and then I found the third Rydia and went, well, never mind. And I was going to bring one as an anchor, but I didn't have a spare.
You don't need two roses. You don't need two roses, and you also don't need an anchor.
Hey, I want to play it safe.
You actually made it worse instead of better.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, reflect strats.
I realized that.
From anchors.
Yeah. Reflect strats are interesting like that, but, there's arcane magic that goes into that, and, I don't know about arcane magic. I'm a white mage.
That's my domain.
Whack. But GG Zoe, nice run overall. Did you have fun? Did you jump all over the world? Was your plan to take the hook route immediately and just jump over everything and ignore everything that was going on there because, you hate bosses and fighting things?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Whenever I play Push Me to Jump, it's do jumps. Typically, I'll go underground. If this wasn't like a Ladies' Night seed, maybe check Tower Zot early to grab the two characters, but I also wanted to make sure that I could kill whatever was at the top, so I didn't do that until later. But yeah, overall, I was pretty happy. I wasn't sure how I was going to get through most of the stuff until I finally found that Levia orb, and I was like, okay, here we go. The rest of this seed is online. I was just really glad that King Queen Evelyn wasn't on Giant, because I've had my past two races that I've actually competed in have had boss hunts for my last objective, and both were at the element spot. So while I was on the moon, that was in the back of my head. And I was like, you know what? I got to go down to do Twin Harp anyway. Let's make sure it's not there. And if it's not there, then we'll go Giant, because that'll be all I have left.
Yeah, as someone who, I haven't kept up with all the latest push B to jump tech, but it seemed like you did everything in like a really solid, efficient order, so.
Yeah, I'm not sure if anybody noticed it or if anybody called it at that spot. I forgot you jump behind the Bahamut spot.
Also the ribbon spot.
Yeah, the ruin spot. Yeah, the shortcut in Lower Babel that I missed both times, and then realized that I missed it. Realized I missed it the first time, and then on the second time I just missed it again. And so I was like, I know where this is. I promise. I just forgot. Overall, this definitely wasn't too bad. The boss placement was pretty favorable. There was nothing that was like super wally that I didn't feel like I was going to be able to get through when I got to the point where I wanted to fight it.
You have to admit, you were probably a little bit annoyed, though, when you found that Dark Elf at the Luca key spot, like 5 minutes in, when you couldn't actually fight it then.
I was a little annoyed, but I was more happy to have the information, because that was one boss off my plate. And so I knew, like, by the time I was going to like start being able to kill bosses, it was going to be a pretty easy boss to kill. But yeah, it was a little bit like, okay, I'm glad I found it, but why now? Why couldn't this be like a free boss or just nothing I need at all?
Hey Zoe, I got a question.
Yeah.
If you were a lumberjack, would it be push tree to stump?
Is this what's been happening during this race?
Only once. I only did it once.
It's a good pun. It's just like, good gosh.
We were chanting second quest a lot, but then we met that donation incentive for the next one. So we haven't had a good second. We haven't had a good second quest chant in a while.
Oh, that's exciting. I was sitting here wondering again the entire race. I was like, man, I hope that gets met.
Yeah, everyone came through because everyone is awesome.
I knew that was where the hook was. It was the only spot, and I wanted that second adamant armor, but
I'm greedy and wanted that second adamant armor, but no.
Yeah. Like, I was like, okay, that's why I just kept killing bosses that I knew were basically free, like the Pale Dim. I was like, I have already arrows, already bow, it's fine. I was like, please just give me a hook. Just give me a hook. And I was, as soon as I realized it was at the...
To be honest, if I were playing this and I got all those arty bows and the arty arrows and heroine robes, I would have been real tempted to like go full berserk, like 5 berserk on Zeromus.
Quint. That also crossed my mind when I got like the second arty bow and heroine robe, and I was just like, you know what? I've been practicing reflex strats. It's what I did in the practice seat I did for this, and I was like, let's just go with reflex strats. I'm pretty sure I can pull it off, especially because I had so many extra levels from clearing the moon. Like over 3,000 HP on the Rosa that I was actually using. That's ridiculous.
So I want to get your reaction really quick to 2 things. First of all, that amazing Twin Harp song, and second of all, that amazing Zeroma sprite.
Okay, so the Twin Harp song was great. I had a feeling it was probably going to be something 7 related, considering Art just came out, and so hearing that it was that, at first I didn't place it, but it was interesting, and then as soon as I read it, I was like, oh yes, this is a perfect song. Oh, I'm so glad this has been made. And then I had to contain my laughter to make sure I didn't mess up my strats on Z, because I was not expecting that. That was so good. The Mario Paint showcase that Must Be Tuesday did was fantastic, so seeing Mario Paint and that, it was so good.
I just laughed for a solid like 20 seconds when that popped, because what other reaction could there be?
There is none. It was so good. So what does Raina still have left to do?
She just needs to find the Twin Harp. She's done the other 3 objectives at this point, so she's on the moon right now.
And she was worried that she was going to do terribly. She's doing fantastic.
Yeah. Other than fighting a couple bosses that she really didn't need to, because, you know, you could just skip them on push B to jump. She did Big Siren Grind, which was safe and smart, because, you know, that's honestly a very sensible play. Because, you know, obviously just hat levels are good and make you powerful, and so that you can flex on your problems. Yeah,
that's why I popped that like first Siren for the very first fight in the game. I was like, let me just get some quick experience, make the overworld manageable. And then by that point, I'd already found the hourglasses in Lands of Monsters. I was like, all right, cool. So I'm doing a King Ryu grind, and then I found the arty arrows, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to do a really easy King Ryu grind, except for the fact that I Berserked Rosa messed up my life glitch twice.
Yeah, don't Berserk for that one, but otherwise that was real solid.
I actually prefer, I like to Berserk, but then just like sit there and wait for the Rosa to attack, or like the whoever to attack, and it's like, okay, I used the life on that one.
Yeah, the one of them I messed up because I thought the 8,160 damage was going to kill it because I actually don't know their exact HP value, so I messed up that one on my own. But the one where she killed the one while the life was being queued up and then took another turn before the life potion went off, that was annoying.
See, I'm legitimately the worst, and actually would have not even used the hourglass at that point with Artemis arrows in hopes of getting doubles because I'm greedy. But that's more just me being me, and not necessarily a thing that you should ever do in an actual game. Hey, there's my name in the credits. I still can't believe that.
Right? My friend is in the credits. Multiple of my friends are in these credits.
It's weird. It weirds me out still.
It's a good team.
Bunch of good names there.
But yeah, I just want to say, if you're in chat, you're enjoying the marathon, and this is not something that you'd seen before, you've never seen Free Enterprise, and you like randomizers, give it a try. The community is great. I only joined a couple of months ago when I first started playing, and it's fantastic community. I was welcomed really, really well. Jumping into the races was pretty painless. But it's also just a fairly accessible randomizer. There's a lot of intricacies to it to have a high skill level, so it's a pretty steep learning curve as far as the high end play. But you just want to play it casually. This is probably, dare I say, surpasses E3R for my favorite randomizer. I think I dare. It has.
Well, yeah, that's because it's the only S tier randomizer that exists.
I can't argue with that logic.
Look, I'm biased, but I'm also right.
Also, I don't know if Raina's got a chance to show it off because I had no opportunities really to. You can also jump in battle, if anybody didn't know that. If you press B...
She actually got a very clutch kill on D Lunars with a jump.
Where was the D Lunars? What?
It was the Ruby spot.
Yeah.
It was one of the extra bosses that she fought.
Okay, yeah. I saw the two sparkles and went, no, not doing that.
There's something to be said for the fact that, and this is probably a undefined behavior specific thing with this run with the push B to jump, but if Raina Lynn is guilty of anything, it's playing this seed way too fairly.
Yeah. I know when we were talking, for the setup and stuff, I had mentioned, because she was talking about some of the issues we were having, and I had mentioned, I was like, yeah, just jump into Cave Evelyn, and she was like, you can do that? It's
she's actually in the process of doing save pointless Wyvern now. She jumped over from the bridge to the Wyvern spot.
And that's a great one. And it pays off here because this is just it's a pretty free fight if she can pull it off.
Well, you've got nukes and death magic, and you've got all the tools you need to just disintegrate the swap. So
yeah. But yeah, the jumping is crazy. It's when it first hit on April Fool's, I saw it and I was like, oh, this is cool. And I played around with it for a bit, just explored, seeing what I could jump over, and then we had a race that following Monday, which was my first race. No, my second race. Anyway, and just seeing all the different strats that this one April Fool's flag can really add into the run is remarkable, and it's like I said at the end of that race. It feels like an entirely different meta, and it's exciting to play.
I admittedly have not really stopped to learn all of the things that you can skip, and the couple times I played it, I was in a lot of Raina's situation where it's wait, I could have skipped that.
Yeah, and even then, there's still stuff that I'm figuring out. I don't play Push B Jump quite as much. I did get a little burned out on it the first couple weeks, but playing it every now and again is really cool, and this is the perfect setting. Undefined Behavior is all about weird ways to play games. What better way than a randomizer with a Mystic Quest jumping mechanic and only the lady characters? It's so good.
It is worth noting that in Mystic Quest you cannot jump over enemies, even though you can jump. It's a tragedy.
So it's Mystic Quest Plus.
It's a ROM hack.
Here's the other way to get to the Wyvern, I guess is what you were referring to earlier.
Yep.
This is the one that allows you to get the save point.
Yeah, this is the backbridge path. If you're a coward and want to save your game. I mean, what?
Also, I jinxed myself again in Antlion. As I was going down, I was like, man, I hope this isn't Wyvern. And then I remembered that we have Witchburn on into the Bluster. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. But as soon as I saw it, I my heart skipped a beat.
Do that every seed I play, I swear.
But yeah, also again, and I'd love to talk about this. The Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise community is also very queer, so you should hang out with us.
Yeah, very queer, very very fun. Demi is an important person in that land. Blaze is an important person over in that land. Phil's an important person over in that land. Lots of important people.
I mean, Scala, Natara, a bunch of the RPG Valkyries, because, you know, we know what's up.
It's the first speedrunning community I ever found, and it's still the most welcoming that I've found in the couple years I've been doing this thing. So yeah, it's unbelievable the amount of openness and support that everybody there shows.
Yeah, I typically don't do communities for the games that I play, and that's just because either I can't feel safe being queer there, or there's just some bad actors. Like FE, I've never felt any of that toxicity that I feel in most other communities I've tried to get into in the past, and so it's honestly the first dedicated to a game community that I've enjoyed being a part of.
It's like if you have queer people and ladies in the administration from the start, you might get a good community out of it.
Hi, Scala.
Hi.
that Z Sprite was something.
I am very glad it was appreciated.
I'm just really appreciating the fact that Raina's showing off every last little goofy jump you can do in Lunar Subterranean right now.
It's so good. Oh, I didn't show off the moon jump either on the.
Yeah, the moon jump is great.
I love moon jump.
That's one that's worth showing off. But yeah, I could talk for hours upon hours on how do you make a good community. It was literally my job. I've managed people. I've managed communities. Scala has heard me go on for hours about this. Sil has heard me go on for hours about this. I almost should have submitted that I should have actually submitted that to this marathon, a half-an-hour academic lecture on how to build a good community.
Oh yeah, more panels.
But I didn't.
Aw.
Should have. But if we need to fill a half an hour at any time, please let me know.
That's even a hot take, Margie. That's just being smart.
That's just a take.
It's just pragmatic. That's all it is.
I'm going to sneak in a quick $5 donation from Leggy Starscream that's been kind of lingering here for a little bit. And it seems fitting as Rainalyn drops the whites and the nukes on this here mom bomb here. $5 from Leggy saying, "Why are they calling a nuke when you knew in the cold boss?
No. She knows I hate that joke.
Maybe I was saving it just for you, Zoe.
You're the best, Stella.
Maybe I was expecting it to get read before you showed up. I don't know things.
I will also... Never mind, I'm not going to say that.
No, you had to say it now.
Well, no, you'll see it later. There was a little bit of ambiguity in the comment that was not Leggy's fault that I was a little bit perplexed by for a little while.
Hey, Raina will get that second admin armor, so that's good. Yeah, okay, Blaze, go ahead and actually read it for the people. I'm just going to turn my headset off for a moment.
The comment was, again, $5 from Leggy Starscream. Why they call in a nuke when you knew in the cold boss knew hot out, kill the boss? I also had to rehearse that for 5 straight minutes so that I could read it correctly, mostly.
You did good, Blaze.
Meg still has the award for the most tongue-twistiest donation comment of the run, and I have to say, y'all were just fantastic. Let's see, I'm just doing a little bit of back-of-envelope math here. I'm pretty sure we raised, $600 to $700 during this run, just an incredible amount. We completely took care of the donation incentive for the next run. We crossed $3,000. What an amazing showing from both the all of the fans of this marathon as well as the free enterprise community. So thank you again, everybody, for your donations during this run.
Y'all are fantastic.
I'd expect nothing less of y'all.
Yeah, thank you all so much for being incredible. It's been a blast just hanging out here and pushing the buttons to make the things light up.
Like it's been doing that in the background this whole time. And you've done a very good job, because you've also been doing other things.
Yeah, like, I just want to shout out the commentary team for, making sure that I know what I didn't click when I don't click it, and just being really, really good at keeping their frazzled tracker afloat. So thank you all for being wonderful.
It's like the commentary team's real good at what they do or something.
Right.
Raina just, by the way, immediately exiting out with that twin harp. So this is good. This is good news for Raina.
She's gonna do the right thing. It's gonna be great. She's gonna gamble off the rest of the moon. All the spots, I believe only one spot, only Ogopogo spot was down there, so but with the harp in hand, she's just gonna head on down.
I just have to point out to Zoe too that we had to really calm chat down early on in the run when you went to go check the twin harp key item without the twin harp, and everyone was like, harps, 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 and we're like, no, you can't do that right now.
Yeah, no hype at all. Negative, anti-hype.
Yeah, I realized I was like, man, I'm just gonna be a tease right now. But it's a freebie, and I want to go check it.
Yeah, you got the chat all hyped up, and then that was that. Oh, hi, Rom Hack Races. Hi, everybody from Rom Hack Races. Thank you for the raid.
Oh.
Another fantastic community. Speaking of fantastic communities, Ramak Races is the Super Mario World Kaizo community, where a few of the edge cases really got their start. So, hello, everybody.
Oh God, Leggy, if the kids in the chat are chanting harp, 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 am I like orders one elixir and goes to the moon?
Yes, absolutely. We have key item checks at home.
Jumps up, grab the dark elf's key item, and leaves.
One piece scale.
No, I'm full harp, 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 harp all the time.
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely orders one elixir and drives by.
We have boss checks at home.
Yeah, no, I'm worse than that. But there's 7 possible key items on the moon, everybody. We have key items on the moon. Alright, everybody.
Do what's required, right?
Yeah, it wasn't required in that race, though, that I won, so it doesn't matter. But it's reprise time, so I guess we're all gonna have to stop talking about how I am the enemy of the people, because I hate Twin Heart.
Yeah, we have a whole bunch of new friends who came in. They deserve to get to hear this song.
It was real good, and you're going to enjoy it one more time. We're not going to tell you what it is. I mean,
this is the first time this race tonight that this harp song has ever been heard.
If you spoil it in chat, I will time you out.
I just have to say, I think that party would have been okay.
Chat, can y'all do me a huge favor? I think he's still here, but can you all just please give it up for Calamity for that?
Fantastic. Yeah, so I have an announcement to make real quick. We just passed our goal.
Yeah,
Wait,
Zoe, how
oh.
about you? Go ahead and announce that to everybody.
we just got a $1,000 donation from E, and the comment just says E. I think I know who this is. I'm not going to call them out. But thank you so much. You're literally going to make me cry. That's incredible. I can't believe it.
Meanwhile, during that, Kind of Nerdy Housewife made a comment about how that's some fast fingers on Edward there playing that on the harp. This reminds me of a time that I saw a comment from Danny Baranowski on YouTube in reply to one of the people who did a remix of Crypto the Necrodancer music that simply said, "You still have fingers. I have failed." After Family Jewel 7X absolutely ripped a ridiculous track on the guitar. So yeah, shout outs to people who can actually pull off absolutely ridiculous things with their fingers in the name of awesome sounding music.
Also, I'm tearing up a little bit at the 4,000. You know, it's an ECC marathon. I'm raw at this point. This is amazing.
I'm so proud of y'all.
Yes.
Y'all are so good.
I am legitimately.
This is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I for one am not shocked. You all are just a fantastic community, and I'm just really thankful that you let me be a part of this marathon. So thank you so much.
You know, all the creativity and wonderful like mold breaking that's gone into this marathon has really been part of its success. I think it's really amazing.
I mean, just when I heard the concept of the marathon and what you all were planning and what you were shooting for, I was just absolutely amazed with the concept and the idea that, you know, this was going to be a space for more experimental, you know, atypical speedruns, because I think a lot of us that do a lot of marathons or watch a lot of marathons, we just get so used to kind of the same old, you know, routine, you know, the same old stuff. And it's nothing wrong with any of that, but it was so cool just to see a group that was like planting the flag and being like, no, we are going to do something different. And we are going to highlight some stuff that you don't normally see. And clearly you have struck a chord with a lot of people. So thank you again and good work.
Thank you all. Hey, our goal updated. It's now $8,192.
Yeah, that's too perfect. Alright, we do have Raina, though, starting to execute the Reflect kill here on Zeromus, so just dropping these high-powered spells reflected off of the mages. We didn't really talk about why we're reflecting, actually, and not direct casting, is that Zeromus, through the magic of integers, of course, has about 61,000 hit points, but to make Zeromus look like he has over 100,000 hit points, because of how the programming worked back in the early 90s, basically has a script that once Zeromus takes direct damage when he is over 46,000 damage taken or under 15,000 health left in the pool, he instead just heals the full back to 61,000 hit points. Again, giving you the illusion of Zeromus having over 100,000 hit points. But it's not actually the case. But counter scripts don't go off if you reflect. So by reflecting spells onto Zeromus does not get to do the counter script, which makes his health go back to 61,000 HP, and so dies to reflected damage. This is also abused in the speedrun of this game if you run no 64. I know Rivers has been jamming runs a couple of times recently. I think there's a Final Fantasy Relay coming up again soon over an RPG Limit Break, and I know Rivers has been practicing for that. Rivers McCown, of course, is why I, of course, named Rivers for him. There's a whole story behind that I'm not going to tell because it'll take forever, but it does a hybrid reflect kill and gets the last damage reflected to finish the fight.
Can I answer a quick question in chat?
Go for it.
Oh. Oh, just very quickly, why does Zeromus have a paint palette on him? Because we randomize Zeromus in Free Enterprise. We don't do anything else with his battle script, with his HP. We leave all that the same, but it gets boring fighting the same boss over and over again. So instead, every sprite has a different Zeromus just about. We have well over 450 different sprites. This one was made brand new just for this marathon. I wanted to do something inspired by all the wonderful, cool, and unusual games, and I went with Mario Paint, which was a favorite of mine growing up. And I thought it was a really fun idea to make Zeromus get to be Mario Paintified for once. I worked very hard to actually make this all fit.
I can imagine.
It's real good, though.
Thank you.
I dare say you've really expanded Zeromus's palette over the years, Scala.
Grown.
No! I will
goodness, please
support
stop.
bad jokes. Bad jokes for life. Bad jokes for
Absolutely.
2020.
Puns on puns on puns.
Yes.
And there it is.
GG!
There's time. GG to Rainalyn, who has made Zeromus die horrendously through reflected magic.
That was a
And seems-
fantastic race.
And seem to have crashed Mario Paint in the process.
Yeah, Zeromus.exe.
Paint 3D.exe is crashed.
What else?
That was a lot of fun.
Well, y'all made it fun.
It's just a good show. This game's always a good showcase, but I love it when it's something new like the push B to jump, which I suspect a lot of people haven't seen too much of, even if they have seen a lot of Free Enterprise. So, and it's just perfect for this marathon too.
Oh no! As soon as like Push B to Jump came out, I was literally like DMing the edge cases, being like, "You must like look at this. It is perfect for you."
Yeah, I'm just really happy that Rainalyn agreed to a race, because when we were building the schedule, I had submitted a press B to jump as like one of the edge case runs for like time fill, or if we got behind or got ahead or whatever. And we saw that she had also submitted a push B to jump, and so I reached out to her to see if she wanted to maybe race, and she said yes. And I was very happy that we could bring a little more excitement to the marathon with this race, because I think this is the only race in the marathon actually. So and we're joined by Raina.
Hey,
GG's.
music. I hate
Yeah.
music. I knew when you guys said required music was gonna happen, it was gonna be a problem.
It was just double required, which also annoyed me, so you're not alone.
I just don't like chasing Moon until I have to.
Wait, Zoe, that wasn't You're Not Alone. That was Crazy Motorcycle Chase.
Oh yeah, sorry.
That's what that song was. I couldn't think of what it was.
Can always check the harp if you don't know.
That takes time.
You're not wrong. It does take time. Yeah, you did a really good job, Raina. I've been watching the last little bit, and yeah, you were worried, but you did fantastic. GG. Let's put some hype in chat for Raina, please.
Yay, GG, Raina.
It was
Yo.
my smoothest Aromas fight I've ever had, so that was pretty good.
Incredibly smooth Z fight. That was a smoother Z fight than mine was, which like I was impressed. I was watching you do it, and I was like, holy crap, this is going really well.
Probably had a lot more levels on you, though. I feel like I was over leveled.
I was like high 50s. I definitely over leveled.
Well, I didn't want to go to the moon until I had Nuke and White and everybody, so I mostly grinded. But GG, I don't know how quick you finished, but I'm assuming you finished before.
I think it was about a half hour ago.
I think the big thing was, from watching from up here, Zoe really just went right underground with jumping through the hook route, and it just turned out that a lot of the stuff that was needed was down there, specifically like in the sealed cave. So, but honestly, until you were both of you were grinding at kind of like the same time, and it was really entertaining just to watch both of you progress through the seed in just some different ways, and it was a good race. It was a lot of fun to watch.
I just enjoyed early jumping and everything.
It's such a fun flag. It's so fun to play with.
It's useful when you don't have the damage either.
Yeah, those actual like in battle jumps got you through a couple tricky spots for sure.
Honestly, I forgot I could do that until I accidentally hit the button.
You did too, and then I just ended up not having to use it. But yeah, like one time I was pressing B and I was like, oh right, that does a thing in battle.
Who did you take to the end?
3 Rydias, a Rosa, and then I had a Rosa anchor that I shouldn't have had. I should have just had another Rosa or Porum. But yeah,
I think I even
basically
cared.
Rydias. I got the one from Hobbs. I got the one out off the moon, and then the last one I think was where was the last one at?
Like, did you find a curse ring? I didn't. I don't think I anchored it.
I found a first being real early on in a shop.
Well, clearly didn't need that.
Yeah, the gear was pretty good for both of you later on. So the curse string was, pretty early find for Zoe, but I don't know if it really mattered all that much. Demarine, would you like to share your comments on the party composition at the end for our second runner as well?
I am highly disappointed that you did not keep Rivers in your party, and it makes me sad, and I am full of sadness and sad.
I'm also sad on behalf of Demi.
I love Rivers McGowan, but I hate Porum unless it's an after year.
Oh, those are.
Are you trying to make us cry?
I was like, those are some harsh words. We got some big
I'm
Porum fans here.
I'm so full of sadness now. Porum is my perfect daughter.
Sorry, like I adore Porum in after years, but I just don't like her in the first one. Rosa's a better healer and she's cuter, so whatever.
I'm here for all this knife twisting right now.
I'm staying out of it.
Not as emotional, I swear. I just don't like Porum. I don't like. I actually don't like her brother either. I prefer Rydia.
Okay, hold up. Now I'm angry. You're making me sad.
They remind me of like little gestures, and I don't like clowns. So,
So like, my younger brothers are twins.
I mean,
Twins. One of the things that got me through this earlier that I love is the fact that you can use twin magic even if you don't have each twin, as long as you have 2 twins. It's so fun.
I remember testing that, and it was really cool.
there was a point that I had 3 Porums, and I never used twin magic, and I just got rid of them as quick as I could.
Well, I'm going to drop from chat. I need to get some food because I have a shift for the marathon later tonight. But we also need to figure out what we're doing because we finished like an hour under estimate. So y'all kill some time while we figure it out. I'm going to go eat food. GG's again, Raina. Thank you, everybody. for
Yeah.
kind donations and everything.
I've been on the mic for almost 12 hours today, so I'm also going to take a break.
Sure.
Go rest.
I've been a bit omnipresent today, haven't I? But it started with FF4 and it ended with FF4.
They've
As it
been
should.
undefined behavior brought to you by Silverfire.
I
You
didn't
started
realize
with
we-
extremely broken FF4 in one way and ended with extremely broken FF4 in another way.
realize we finished so early.
Right. Yeah. So, this is not my last time on the mic for the marathon. I have a hosting shift on Monday, I think. But y'all been wonderful. GG's. Thank you, Demi. Thank you, Sil. Thank you, Blaze. Thank you, Scala. Thank you, Comility. Thank you, everyone that put together what we just played. And thank you, everyone watching and helping us raise money for the Trevor Project. It means so much to me. Have a great night.
Thank you, everyone. Scala, I loved the end sprite. That was great. Definitely got a nice little giggle out of me after, looking for music for so long. But thanks for having me.
You did a great job, Raina. That was really, really good to see. Good run.
Thanks. I'll be around. I don't have anything else to do for the marathon, but I'll be around. I don't have a life. Might as well.
All right. So we are going to be wrapping things up here with the free enterprise run. So thanks again to both of our runners, Zoe and Raina. Thank you, Demarine. Thank you, Silverfire. And this is Moonblaze Wolf. I've been your host for this run. I will be back on Monday evening, I believe. I will be back on the mic again for some other fantastic games, breaking more milestones, I'm sure, and just exploring some other amazing, crazy speedruns, probably. And I will look forward to seeing you again on Monday night. So until then, take care, everybody, and enjoy the rest of the marathon. Bye-bye.